I believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time. I'm a person who will spike the conversation, who will get politics rolling and stimulate new questions and new answers to our current political dilemma facing our nation. I believe I have a keen understanding of the economy and how to improve where we're at relative to other nations around the world. I believe that our goal at America's Third Party was to create a very strong platform in which would propel the American people forward with new opportunities and a new possibility of creating a better nation, a cleaner environment, and less war. I believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to America's Third Party. I'm David Sponheim. Welcome. Hello. Thank you so much. Being a part of our show is what we really encourage you to do, is talk about our show to people, talk about a third party and how it's struggling to survive in America, talk about how we're being censored by our own country and how we, the American people, are still striving to get a voice in our own government and still unable to do that. So we're still working on trying to build a community, and it's been almost 10 years now, which is amazing. But let's not forget that the third party have been in the formative stages since the 1870s, right after the government became a different government, really. The Act of 1871 changed the complexion of our government, so much so that third parties were sprouting up all over the country trying to find an alternative way. And if you don't understand what I'm discussing, don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. Our government is under two different names. We have the United States of America, which was bankrupt in 1933, and we have the United States, which is a different legal entity, which has existed since the 1870s when the Act of 1871 was passed. So we have a lot to really wrestle with as we move forward and build our sovereignty as a nation, and we are still trying to do that. There are people, intermediaries, that are trying to come in and own our monetary system, and they've been doing it for centuries. And we're going to be on top of that, talking about all of those issues throughout the week. Today is Technology Thursday, so I've got to get this technology to work. So what I'm going to do is mute my voice and cover my eyes. I'm back. That was to protect my password into iVlog. So now we have 13 viewers at iVlog. I want to chat with you guys and see what you have to say. I'm reading the chat from your room and from Vaughn, and we've got lots to talk about. Technology Thursday is just a routine we go through. We have Conspiracy Monday, Truth Tuesday, Wasteful Wednesday. I also turned it into Wig Wednesday, where I wear a wig toward the end of the show. And then Technology Thursday, and then Freedom Friday, and then Anti-War Rally Saturday. And Sunday we take a break. Okay, Twitter is announcing a major shift. As something happened, they released a text file with all kinds of passwords on it, and they just sent this notice in my pop-up screen. When you set a password for your Twitter account, we use technology that masks it so no one in the company can see it. We recently identified a bug that stored passwords unmasked in an internal log. We have fixed the bug, and our investigation shows no indication of a breach or misuse by anyone. But out of an abundance of caution, we ask that you consider changing your password on all services where you've used this password. All right, good to know. Thanks for telling me, Twitter. You'd think with all the money they make, they, get their act together. Okay, Guy Smiley, I got a link there. I'm going to take a look at that in just a second. The mystery high school pooper. I'm sure that's important. We don't want to miss that. Yep, and Twitter is putting out a notice to all users to change their password. 300 million users. Anyway, you're looking at my Twitter page. I've had the same number of followers for 10 years. It hasn't varied, which means I am being completely censored. We have a huge presence on the internet, and yet we have the same number of followers, which makes no sense at all. Same on YouTube. For 7 or 8 years, I've had the same number of subscribers, the exact same number. And you could easily say, well, you're just not doing enough tweeting, Dave, and No, it's really, we are being censored pretty hard. But at least we have a Twitter account, and I tweeted this statement. The big story that's spinning today is about Donald Trump cooking up a plan with Rudy Giuliani, which is stunning his entire staff. Donald Trump somehow thinks that he's taking any chance of guilt away from him by by claiming that he didn't pay Stormy Daniels out of campaign funds. He thinks that's the law he breached, okay? Or accused of breached. He hasn't done anything. He and Giuliani must be complete, like, Tweedledee and Tweedledum. They don't even know what they're doing. When Rudy Giuliani spoke out just yesterday about how Donald Trump actually paid Michael Cohen back for the $130,000 he paid to hush Stormy Daniels up, that was some big reveal that they cooked up. But the real issue is Rudy Giuliani's Stormy Daniels denial payment by Trump came after he said openly on cameras that he didn't have any contact with Michael Cohen. He knew nothing about it. Watch this. It's a total contradiction. We played this when it first happened, but this is kind of shocking that he thinks that it didn't come out of campaign funding. I'm going to get this thing to play better.
Would make it if there was no truth or allegation.
You have to ask Michael Cohen. Michael's my attorney, and you'll have to...
Did you know about the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels?
Okay, there he is. He says, did you know about the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels? He says no. You see it right there. USA Today, the AP has this feed, outright lied about it. Outright lied about it. And then he went on to say that Michael Cohen handled the whole thing, blah, blah, blah.
Why did Michael Cohen make it if there was no truth or allegation?
You have to ask Michael Cohen. Michael's my attorney, and you'll have to ask Michael.
Do you know where he got the money to make that payment?
No, I don't know.
Did you ever set up a fund of money
I had
to
to
pay
drop
for?
I'm sorry.
Okay, he lied again. He didn't know where the money came from. Now he's claiming, according to Rudy Giuliani, which is their big story that they cooked up, that he took this huge gambit, which is stunning his staff. It's like, why would you go out and admit pretty much that you lied? He somehow thinks that because he paid for this out of his private funds and then funneled it through his attorney, he didn't pay for it out of campaign funding. Donald Trump believes that that's the law he violated when he tried to pay off Stormy Daniels and shut her up prior to the election. Someone needs to get to this guy who has a credible legal background and give him some good advice, because he shouldn't be talking to anybody at this point, especially Giuliani, because Giuliani's got one of the biggest mouths out there. And if this is a plan that they cooked up together, it really is. It shows you how incompetent our government is right now, and how Donald Trump doesn't even understand the laws or the lies that he's engaged in, and he's breaching laws in the process. So Giuliani said, I know the president and I know Comey and he's a disgraceful liar. Okay, let's take a look at that. Then we'll get to the mystery pooper.
And I think what I offer to this is something unique. I'm a lawyer who knows the criminal justice system as well as anybody in America. I'm also a very good friend of Donald Trump. And I think I have the respect of Mueller, the FBI, the Justice Department.
You should.
Jeff Sessions was my colleague, not just in the campaign, but back in 1981 when he was U.S. Attorney in Alabama. I don't think I'm going to, they know the decision I make is going to be in the best interest, not just of my client, but the United States. If they're objective, we can work something out. If they're not, then we have to shake hands and basically go into a litigation over, do they have the power to subpoena? And I think they lost that power. This is a completely tainted investigation.
Explain.
Well, you have an investigation in which Mueller is selected the day after he's turned down for FBI director by Rosenstein, who was there when Mueller was turned down. There are thousands of people that could have been selected for that job. Also a friend of James Comey, and James Comey seems to be their core of their investigation. He's telling the truth, the president isn't. I know James Comey, I know the president. Sorry, Jim, you're a liar, a disgraceful liar. Every FBI agent in America has his head down because of you. It would have been good for God if God had kept you out of being head of the FBI.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with Giuliani on that note. All said and done, James Comey is proven to be completely incompetent. So we really don't rely on James Comey, though, for testimony. Yeah, we really don't have to rely on James Comey for any of his testimony. Another thing in his book is relevant to the case. The fact that Donald Trump fired him as a chance or a plan to end the Russian involvement, the Russian investigation into the involvement, is in and of itself the real issue of obstruction of justice. It's not what James Comey said. It's not that Donald Trump said, you better hope I don't have an audio tape of our conversation. And then when they looked, he didn't have any audio tapes of his Oval Office conversations, which I find really disturbing. But I would always audio tape the Oval Office just for security. We don't have any transcripts of Russia's conversation with Trump after that, other than a simple statement by the Russian leader, Kislyak, that they had discussed that he was relieved of the Russian investigation being over, which implies that Donald Trump not only committed obstruction of justice, bragged about it to the Russians right afterward, which is equally as disturbing. Again, James Comey's testimony is irrelevant. So I think the Republicans are going to have to lose this Comey hatred, because it's really completely immaterial to the investigation that Mueller is engaged in now. Now the big elements in this chess game are Paul Manafort and his money laundering allegations. Was he selling Trump properties in exchange for money laundering? If so, that's a serious mark against Trump. Did Trump continue to go on with this full knowledge that he was going to be president with the sole purpose of not implementing sanctions? That's a big part of this case, because if he did do that, and he seems like he's done it, because he seems to be bucking our Congress when it comes to putting sanctions on Russia, even to this day. All right. I'm not going to talk like Trump. That's not the goal here. You'll be putting Trump in your distant memory as soon as I'm president, okay? We're trying to get out of a very bad situation with a very greedy, stupid man running our country. So doing impressions of him isn't going to make me feel better, or you, for that matter. But the reality is I'll slip him in when I can. Okay, Vegas body cam versus media photos. There's some conflict there. Thank you, Scissor Fight. I really believe that my Lincoln impression is spot on. No one's ever heard Lincoln speak, but I have an idea of what he sounded like. Sure. Let's do the Gettysburg Address so you can hear it just as Lincoln would have said it. I've reallocated information and put it all together to come up with Lincoln's voice. Are you ready? Let's do it just in Lincoln's terms. Okay, ready? Now, it's going to shock you. He was a very funny guy, had a very high voice, so here it is.
7 years ago, our fathers brought forth upon this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal.
Now, I know that sounds shocking, but that was the tonality that Lincoln had in his voice. No, seriously. His voice was laughable. People used to think, is this guy a comedian? He had this really high voice. Check it out. Read historians, the description of his voice. But I may not be completely accurate, okay? In any event, it was certainly just as interesting as Donald Trump's. But if Trump denies knowing about the hush money payment to the porn star Stormy Daniels, which he did do, and here's a USA Today article to verify this, and you can access this on our Twitter account at Third Party. Just check it out. He flat out said he didn't know anything, and now his big move is to have Giuliani release that Donald Trump did know about it, knew where the funding was coming from and everything. So Donald Trump openly contradicted himself in a direct lie. How is that going to build his character to challenge the alleged coming indictments and possible subpoenas being issued forth? I don't understand how these two nincompoops are in any way going to prevent this investigation from going forward, unless, of course, they want to fire Rosenstein and Mueller, which will just turn this into a major grand jury investigation, and all the files that Mueller has acquired will be sent to the grand jury, which will then be handled in court. I just don't understand what they're doing. And people are wondering, what is this really, when he's starting another problem, one problem after another. The Trump gambit that he came up with stuns staff. President Trump hatched with Rudy Giuliani the high-risk plan to disclose on live TV that he had reimbursed his longtime attorney for buying a porn actress' silence, leaving senior aides in the White House and the rest of his legal team stunned. I was stunned when I Love Fries came in and told us last night. It's like he chose his stooge lawyer Giuliani because no one else would take the case. And then he gives them the worst possible advice he could give them. And believe me, this whole idea of paying off a porno star to not talk about a quickie that he had while being married does not sit well with conservative America. They're more concerned about that than most of us who are concerned about the relationship Trump has with Russia, which I think is far more, has greater overtones about our national security than Trump's sex play. Unless, of course, there is a dossier with a PP tape and it's in play and being manipulated in order to blackmail Trump into doing whatever Russia wants. But I could easily lay out an argument that Trump has been doing everything Russia wants, stopping sanctions, congratulating Putin on what a great win in his presidential election against the advice of all of his advisors, doing everything he could to break up Ukraine. Even Michael Flynn was running around talking about ending Poroshenko's tenure as president of Ukraine and replacing him with Artemenko. Well, Michael Flynn was kicked out, of course, resigned because they found out he was working for the Russians. But then Michael Cohen was saying the same thing that Michael Flynn was saying. And he was running around saying, yeah, we need to get rid of this Poroshenko guy in Ukraine and replace him with Artemenko. This bumbling personal attorney that Trump has been engaged in the same pro-Russian dialogue and discussion. So it's obvious on every level that Trump has been working for Russia from the get-go. He was even given the win with their affecting the election in 7 states that we know of, influencing 142 million people on social network sites. We know this is a fact now. So we also know that Trump's son, Donald Trump Jr., met with this attorney who told people her primary goal was to end sanctions for Russia. That was the woman's purpose. She met Donald Trump Jr. and then said, that's my role. That's what I do. Donald Trump Jr. said that they were going to try to solve the adoption issue with Russian adoption of children. That whole story changed after Trump talked to his son, which is, of course, obstruction of justice when you tell your son what to say. And then Donald Trump Jr. started saying, oh, I just wanted to talk to her about dirt on Hillary. And then she starts saying that that's what she came there for. All of these lies, all of these mistruths, all of these changes of position reflect a series of non-credible moves by the Trump administration, leading us to believe that all along Trump was put in position to end sanctions for Russia, which is a slam dunk for Mueller at any point in this investigation, and will definitely return our nation to some order when we no longer have a tweeting maniac running around destabilizing relations with such important trading partners as China, South Korea, countless others. And if Trump thinks he's going to end this problem with North Korea, just ask the big question. What has Kim Jong-un offered in terms of real numbers of real nuclear weapons that he's going to get rid of? And the answer is zero. Zero. He's offered nothing. So senior aides are stunned. Nobody knows what to do with this. Anyway, let's get back to the show. I want to talk to you now. Thank you for letting me talk and blow out 30 minutes of steam. I would love to talk about how they kill horses that become dog food. It happened under George W. Bush, happened under Barack Obama, happened under Donald Trump. Every single time we have a new president, the dog food lobby comes out and starts pushing for the immediate euthanization of horses. And every year we lose 7,000 to 11,000 horses that are wild, that are beautiful horses, and they're not 11 years old. They're supposed to be 11 years old, but they're not. Let me play this video. Hang on. Yeah, they're 3 years old. You can't really tell a horse whether it's 3 years old or whether it's okay. You can't tell if a horse is 3 or 11. Most people can't tell. You can tell from their teeth, but you have to be really knowledgeable to know if it's a 11-year-old horse versus a 3. Why are we killing horses? The dog food lobby. These are wild Mustangs that are absolutely beautiful creatures, and it makes me sick to think that they're not having at least a 10-year life. I'm really concerned about it. I won't be authorizing the death of any of the wild horses when I become president. We want them to roam free. We want them to live as a natural element of our beautiful landscape. Yeah, they kill them for dog food, and it's all part of a big plan to, they claim it's abatement of nuisance, but it's not. These horses are beautiful. When you see them roam, wild horses running, you can't help but be taken over by the beauty of wild horses. North America's wild horses. Yeah, I would play that, but they'd monetize me, so I could play it with the volume off. But they are beautiful creatures, and I just can't imagine going out and shooting these beautiful creatures. They're absolutely free, and they love to run, and there's just such great. I had a personal relationship with a horse, a couple horses when I was young. Yeah, I had a pretty tough experience in my childhood that I had to get over, and I had a really excellent camp counselor who helped me through it, and he was an expert horseman. His name was Rod, and he came from a big family in Solvang, and I guess he inherited one of the largest ranches in Solvang. He was going to inherit the ranch, so he was a real horseman, and he taught me everything I know about horses. And I became the guy who groomed the horses. I would just, take care of them. And it really is. There's something magical about how they are. It really is. They make you feel better. They just have a natural calming effect on people. There's something amazing about horses. I can't describe it, but I definitely am a horse whisperer. When I go near them, they know me, and they know they like me. There's something about my personality that they like. Yeah, it was a personal relationship with a couple horses. I used to groom them when I was a kid. I don't know what their names were, but I mean, I got to know these horses really well, and there's something calming about them. They say that farm animals can do that for kids who have autism and things like that. I had a tragic event happen to me that I'm not going to talk about, but
just getting into nature, whether it be with horses or with dirt or with gardening.
Yeah, true.
Or with animals, it just helps calm you and center you and realize
so true.
Everything's okay.
Well, it's not okay because we keep getting harassed by, this caller, Jason. And it's disturbing. So I got to go get the phone now. Let me go do that. Hang on.
Jason.
Oh no, we got a call from Jason again. Well, we don't take your calls, Jason. Jason.
We don't take your calls, Jason.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, it was from Jason.
Yeah, see, he just doesn't understand the word no. A lot of young people in America don't understand the word no because they've been raised with parents that just say, whatever you want, honey.
What can I do? What would you like for breakfast? Not,
Yeah.
would you like this or that for breakfast? It's what would you like? Can I go out and make it?
Yeah.
Even if it means I have to go to the grocery store and...
They're appeasing their children all the time, and the kids never hear the word no. Hey, there's a story I want to put in front of Sarah here so she doesn't have to look at it. Hang on. Okay. Mystery High School pooper has been revealed as a superintendent. I just got to read this. This is just too weird. This pooperintendent of schools is getting a lot of crap after he was caught in the act. Police in New Jersey on the hunt for a mystery pooper at Holmdel High School set up surveillance that led them Monday to Superintendent Thomas Traglini. The arrest of the Kenilworth Public School superintendent followed weeks of employees finding feces on a daily basis near or on the high school football field and track. Tramoglini, 42, was arrested on the athletic field about 3 miles from his home. He was charged with defecating in public, lewdness, and littering in connection to the pooping problem. It's unclear what prompted the official to repeatedly take a dump on school grounds, but following his arrest, Tramoglini has requested and was granted a paid leave of absence from his position, which I assume was the squatting position. All right. That's the end of that story. And now we can talk about wonderful thoughts and how great teachers are...
that out.
We can quote what out?
I can close the tab. So
oh, yeah, we don't have to look at this. The pooperintendent. That was really weird. I don't have kids, and I'm sure if I did, I would give them everything they wanted. So I understand where you're coming from. Your parents are trying to make your kids happy, but did you ever hear the term spare the rod, spoil the child? Well, I don't support capital punishment, but it's pretty serious when you let the kids do whatever they want. They think that there's no such thing as the word no, and when they run into it head on in life and they get told no by their boss, they freak out and they lose their job. So you're not really doing your kids a service by not teaching them the word no. It's a very simple plan to kind of set limits and boundaries for your children. I'm not a father, so I don't know how hard it is for you guys to raise children. I know that, believe me, I'm not the last word here. We have a teacher who teaches children who understands that. Okay, I think we're done. 200 feral horses found dead on the Navajo Nation. This is, again, another sad story about horses being killed all around the nation. Every single year you're hearing about countless cases of slaughter. Look at this. They're all killed. They're probably shot. It's just terrible. Navajos probably know more about it than we need. An investigation as to what's happening. The president of the Navajo Nation went out to Tuba City on Wednesday to address the situation. They were found 191
Drought
horses.
And famine.
What?
Their deaths are due to drought and famine. They weren't shot.
They weren't shot. It's drought and famine. They aren't getting enough water. They aren't getting enough food out there in the desert. And this we can attribute to weather warfare, what's going on in the Midwest in America right now. No water. Wow, that's serious.
Oh, 349 believes that Trump is calling you, and that he calls himself Jason.
Oh, that's pretty funny. Trump has has done nothing really regarding North Korea. The three prisoners that were released was Kim Jong-un's work. Kim Jong-un is leading the dialogue on this issue. And without actually offering at all to get rid of nuclear weapons, Kim Jong-un has put the incredible game plan together to somehow make it seem like he's doing something without actually doing something. And Trump is buying into it because he's desperate. I don't consider that the work of a peace plan. Until we can actually see disarmament take place, I'm going to reserve judgment on this issue. But the fact that we can even talk, that'd be great. The fact that Pompeo has opened a dialogue with North Korea, that's great. That's exactly what I thought we needed to do. Meeting him, I don't see the point unless he's willing to get rid of nuclear weapons. And I'm sure he wants us to get rid of our position there in South Korea and not have war games at his border. That would be a big plus on our end. You can get rid of that whole page, that particular one. Did you see the story?
I just read enough.
Well, basically, Trump has contradicted his statements that he made in the USA Today article that I published on Twitter. He basically said he knew nothing about the money that Stormy Daniels had gotten. Nothing. And now he's saying he not only knew about it, he reimbursed Cohen. So it just doesn't make any sense. Listen to this.
$1,000 payment to Stormy Daniels. Then why did Michael Cohen make it if there was no truth or allegation?
Well, you have to ask Michael Cohen. Michael's my attorney, and you'll have to ask Michael.
Do you know where he got the money to make that payment?
No, I don't know.
Okay, caught in two outright lies. Not only does he now say he knows where he got the money, when he said he didn't know anything about this initially.
President, did you know about the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels?
You heard him lie right there. He said no, he knew nothing about the payment. And now Giuliani and he are yeah. Yeah, this is a real problem. The word is allowed. Sorry, I misspelled it. Yeah, so now he's completely reversing on that statement, and that's their new plan. And many people are going, wait a second, he hired Giuliani to do this? We're not really sure what this is going to accomplish, but it does lead to another series of legal headaches for Trump. Yesterday, Giuliani's media blitz gives investigators new leads and new evidence. Basically, did Rudy Giuliani prompt new legal headaches for Trump? And the answer is pretty much yeah. Caught lying to reporters about this, Trump is now in a world of crap that he wasn't in before, because now we caught him in an outright blatant lie about infidelity while he was married. He's not willing to cop to that. You know, if he were to go around and tell people that he was a sinner and that he's repentant, I'm sure there are a lot of Christians that would say, well, it happens to some of the best of us. Adultery, we accept your apology. But he hasn't repented for anything. And it's not going to win over the Christian right when they listen to this. They're more concerned about his infidelity than they are about the Russian problem. They think the Russian problem is no big deal. Most of the people in the conservative element in our country. But the Russian problem is actually a bigger deal, and that's why Mueller is focusing on that. But all this other ancillary evidence on his sexcapades really adds to the spice of this entire joke of an administration. It really does. And we're just having to sit back and reel at his incompetence. Every time he moves, he seems to make a mistake. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, we're going to give you some Sarah time. I'm going to go have a taco, and I'll be back in a bit. I got that link from NBC News. Thank you. We'll look at that when I get back. Thank you. Thank you, Scissor Fight. I made a really great taco meat. You might want to try it. I used the McCormick taco meat mix that I found. Remember the old mix? And I just said, hey, let's use it. I think it'll be really tasty.
Yeah.
The peppers are just
Found
perfect.
to be, yeah, nice.
Yeah. All right, cool. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Good. A friend. Are you that friend? The taco thing. What should I tell you about the taco thing? What did David tell you about the taco thing? I needed some taco meat. So I said, David, why don't you just cook the taco meat that I need for Friday on the Thursday show? So I need some taco meat tomorrow. Oh, David said it was my fault because I volunteered to bring meat instead of forks. Yes, it was my fault. Somebody's got to bring the meat. I might as well be me. Hello, 649. And I mean, everybody else signs up to bring other things. So then if everybody signs up to bring other things, then nobody will bring the meat, and then it won't be a party. Okay, Ticken. Yeah. Wow. A coworker fatally stabbed a contractor at an airport in a dispute over light. One man turned off a light and the other wanted it on. A friend jumped in and 3 men became physical. Wow. They're outside cleaning airplanes. It's hot. Wow. A light in their break room. They went to go take a break and some guy's like, God, can you just turn off the lights? I just want to sit in the dark. Another guy's like, don't turn off the lights. And there's like, who you talking to? Lights. I mean, seriously. Oh, goodness. Wow. There's a song about Oxford commas. There was a lawsuit someone won because of a missing Oxford comma? Really? You hate that you pause before deciding if you should use the comma, but that's what a comma is. It's a pause. It's not a full stop, but a pause. So anytime you pause, that would be a comma. Well, maybe not all the time. Yeah, sometimes I like sitting in the dark too. At least if you have a, window. Oh, sorry, don't worry, be happy. I know, I don't have that. Well, one of my students today said, your voice is so loud. I can hear you all the way in like the other room. And I'm like, it's not that loud. It's just because you're sitting right under the speaker and I'm on a microphone. But anyway. 649 likes to sit in the dark only with his woman. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Don't worry, be happy. A semicolon is used when you take two clauses and put them together. Two full sentences that would be like two full sentences by themselves. And you want to put them together because they make sense, that they just go flow together. But you don't want the word and. If you put an and, you would put a comma. But without and, you put a semicolon. Semicolon is used at the end of a C++ statement. That's true. That's true, Ticken. Semicolons can also be used when you have to separate ideas in which commas are already present. Wait, what? Never mind. Hello, NYPD1. We have a lot of spaces before Sarah. Okay, if we have a grammar night, we should start with the fact that grammar is Grammar. And maybe we should start learning maybe we should start with the simplest thing. Didn't I already tell you about the simplest thing? Simplest sentence you can make? The simplest sentence that's not just a interjection. An interjection is like, wow! Exclamation mark. Thank you! Exclamation mark. Those are interjections. Just one word that you would put in with an exclamation mark. But okay, I will talk while I'm typing. I will type while I'm talking. How about that? Yes, wow, you just interjected exactly 649. It is easier to. The simplest sentences, declarative sentences, consist of two words and two parts of speech. Oh, correction, misspelling, speech. Verb, noun, oh, so we're correction, noun, verb, period. For instance, she sat. Wait, let me correct that. Sam sat, period. That should be a period, not a comma. Sam sat. John ran. That is a noun and a verb. And all sentences other than interjections should have a noun phrase and a verb phrase. It could just be the noun and the verb, but then you can add to that. Now let's go with, since we're talking about nouns, what is a noun? A noun is a person, place, thing, or idea. That's what a noun is. And of course, you could watch Schoolhouse Rock. They have great videos about all of that. Yes. Oh, and please, yeah, I see people using capital letters. I like that. Sentences should begin with capital letters. You downloaded all 8 seasons of Schoolhouse Rock last night? That's awesome. From like YouTube or what? I like Schoolhouse Rock. Take a date and only speak in interjections. It will quickly get you to the front of the line. Wow! No! Yes! Absolutely! Fantastic! Nice. Really? No. That would be fun. Sometimes I try to take a date and only say yes or no. That lasts for about 15 minutes, maybe. No, Ticken. Well, maybe Ticken, but only virtually using your words. I think you're malfunctioning, Gunny Highway. Like you misspelled my name, and then the different types of your. I think there's Valley girls that use the word like more than twice or more in a sentence. I try not to use the like. And whenever I'm around my family, there's a term that I try not to use normally, but it's, you know what I mean? And so one of the things I did learn when I took speech is that the value of silence. In other words, people often use fillers when they're speaking, like, you know what I mean? All these fillers. And one of the things that they do that in is during a conversation with a second person. They want to make sure that the other person doesn't interrupt them. So they do like and because they're trying to make sure that if they come to a stop, that the person doesn't jump in and start talking until they complete their train of thought. Yet that often carries over to when people are giving like formal presentations, and it comes off not very well. So you have to practice a lot not using the words and and if you videotape yourself, you realize that it doesn't look very good. And try, if you're able to edit them out, it looks a lot better. Yes, the pregnant pause. Is that when I say the pregnant pause? Is that what you mean by a pregnant pause, Rex? I think so. One of the things, if that is what you mean, that is very powerful, and that's one of the things I learned from a book called Teach Like a Champion 2.0. That if you do these pauses where you stop short, then it gets people to actually listen to you. If people are talking, don't talk over them. I do sometimes tell people I'm not finished talking. It is polite to ask people, are you finished? When they're trying to explain themselves. Let me look up the pregnant pause because I'm wondering, you're probably typing it all out for me. The silence that occurs after someone has said or done something that leaves everyone who bore witness to the event speechless. It's the first cousin of an awkward pause. Oh, a pregnant pause often occurs when something that requires a sarcastic response happens, but no one quite knows what to do or say. A pause that gives the impression that it will be followed by something significant. That's a pregnant pause. Yes. Yes, you got me started. That's true. All right. So we started with noun and verb. That is your easiest, simplest sentence. A noun, by the way, is any person, place, thing, or idea. Love, dwindles, love flourishes. Love is an idea, but it's a noun. A verb is any action or state of being. Love is. I am. Now, when I used I, that gives us the next lesson. Oh, and all sentences should end with a period. You can tell it's where to put a period if you say each word and it makes sense that you've come to a complete stop. That's where you put a period. It sounds like a waste of time. As long as your point is understood, that is all that matters. Often people do believe that. And I would say that that's actually very true, especially in chat rooms, and people can mistype, and that's true too. But, however, if you do learn grammar, you sound more intelligent. And I would say that I respond to people who type in full sentences. I would respond to them as if they are more intelligent. True, misanthropy. I am often guilty of becoming a grammar Nazi when I have no argument otherwise. Yes, in grade school we often were taught a noun is a person, place, or thing. They've kind of added the idea. I always thought an idea was a thing, so I kind of go with it's a thing. But we've added idea probably in the last 5 years or so. Yes, true, chicken. I am working on my master's degree, but it's not in grammar. But don't worry, be happy was asking about this. But as actions formulated, shouldn't ideas be verbs? Sometimes I guess sometimes they don't talk about the ideas. They talk about them as abstract nouns, like freedom, harmony, things that you can't touch. Whereas usually I was taught that nouns are usually something that you could hold. Of course, I won't forget about you after I get my master's, Goonies. I would type properly. Thank you. Don't worry, be happy. I appreciate that. It just, especially that capitalizing the I. You know, I know it's a difficult thing to hit shift and I at the same time, but really? You were talking to this woman online once, she would completely freak out if you didn't type everything exactly right. That does sound a little bit Too difficult. All right, ready for the next thing I was going to say? Pronouns. So pronouns are when you don't want to use a noun, specific noun, you use pronouns. Instead of saying David and Sarah, I would say we. Instead of talking about my mom and dad, I might say they. So pronouns are in the place of nouns. Oh, that's a good one, Ticken. You could tell that woman, hey, you're lucky the previous men in your life didn't hold you to the same standards physically as you hold to people grammatically. No. Pronouns do not always infer a group. And do not infer a sexual orientation. Definitely. No. Because it is a pronoun. It's his, her, his, him, he, her, she, hers. Those are all pronouns. But then also it's. It's are pronouns. They, their, we, our, your, me, mine. All of those are pronouns. So it doesn't always have to have a, you're right, it doesn't always have to have a gender. Oftentimes they do have a gender, but they don't need a gender. So you could have it. If you're not sure of the gender, you can just use the word it. Or they can be gender. They and we are usually gender non-specific because it could be a group that is intermixed. Oh, you get annoyed when you have to rename files because they decided not to capitalize the first letters of words like the or and or. You know what they do in libraries? They ignore it if it's. So we should talk about those little words next. The and an are called articles. They go before nouns. The, a, and. Those are the three articles. The refers to a specific thing, like the White House. That implies that it's one White House in Washington, D.C. Whereas if you said a White House, it would be like there could be, I don't live in the greenhouse, a greenhouse. I live in a White House. So it could be any of a mixture. And I got confused on and for a little while. The thing about and is you put it where you would have put a, except if the next syllable, if the next sound is a vowel sound, then you use an. That's why an hour, you use an because ow is a vowel sound. Yes, having your file naming system consistent and easy to manage. Now, one of the things that coders often use camel case so they don't capitalize the first word and they capitalize the second word. That I never understood. Okay. You never learned about articles. Yeah, a lot of people don't teach articles because they're the tiny words that often get left out. And you don't have to always use an article. But knowing about articles helps you figure out if a word is a noun. If you can put the word, an article, the or a or an in front of the word and it makes sense, then that word that you can put it in front of, that word is a noun. the house, the towel, a love, a concept. So that's one way to check to see if a word is a noun. Put either they or a in front of it, or an. You want an article in front of your name? You probably don't want an article. You want a title, or sometimes they say a prefix, doctor, or something like that. Yes, you could say the love of my life, right? Exactly. All right, let's go into adjectives next. Adjectives describe nouns, and adjectives are one of my favorite parts of speech. The reason being is because you could use a whole list of adjectives in one sentence, whereas usually you just want a couple of nouns and one verb, could maybe a couple verbs, but you could get away with a whole list of adjectives. I pronounce it the when I'm teaching it, but actually when I'm reading it, I pronounce it the. You're right. The tree, the. You're right. I do pronounce it the. Speaking of which, that sound is called a schwa. A schwa is just, it's the laziest vowel sound that anyone makes. 649 says nowadays it is more common due to people not being sure what gender they are. So it's the, you're right, it's not the. The is the THEE is the English, proper English version of, or Royal English version of you. How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. Schwa. So, you know, in English is a very hard language for many people to learn. That goes back to what's even more simpler than sentences, which is sounds. And every syllable, if you come across a really hard word like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, I know it may be quite atrocious. Anyway, to pronounce it, it all comes down to syllables, and all syllables have a vowel. And vowels in English, vowels in other languages, there's only one way to pronounce that vowel. And every time you see the vowel, it's like you could learn to read Spanish. Anybody could learn to read Spanish and sound like you know what you're talking about if you learn just this 5 vowel sounds of Spanish. But in English, there's more than 10 vowel sounds. But every vowel has at least 2 ways of 2 sounds that it could represent, short or long. Let me. Okay, I see your thing. I would say because you did it as a lowercase, it would be an adjective, misanthropy. Whereas if you did it as an uppercase, it might be a title. And pirates, you would, in that sentence that you wrote, you would want to, instead of using the word to, you would want to use for. Because you're saying that, you're trying to say that women excite you, is what I'm thinking you're trying to say. And it sounds like you're anyway. All right, and then there's this thing in English called diphthongs, which are another thing about vowel sounds, and there's R-controlled vowels, and then there's also variant vowels. English is a hard language to learn because of all the vowel sounds, whereas other languages are easier to learn, at least to read. You might not know what you're reading.
Wow, you're in for a treat.
But
that's for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. All right, thank you for living with me through my little grammar lecture. And I will give the show back to David.
Well, I just want to say that this idea of a super taco came out really great. It's organic romaine lettuce, organic cheese. Salsa I got for a song, 99 cents for a container of salsa. You're welcome to try that. And I made it all up for you on the with the lean ground beef and everything.
Thank you.
And I made some chicken tenders for you if you want.
Yum.
Whatever you can't eat, I'll eat.
I know, David's decided to keep the taco meat. Sarah, you can't have the hamburger.
Yeah, and if you want to move that hamburger into the central bowl, you could carry it with you.
Okay. Sounds good.
It's really amazing stuff. It tastes perfect, I think.
Okay, great.
You might agree.
I'm sure I will agree.
It's the classic taco meat taste. Somebody had the audacity to come in and criticize my taco meat today, and I had to. No, I said, and they said, I'm from Peru, and David's food is like the ghetto. And I'm going, yeah. People really don't realize how pure food is when you really go out of your way to get the best ingredients. I'm sorry to say that most of the food in our world is tainted with pesticides and herbicides. Even organic wine has just been found out to have glyphosate in it, the ingredient found in Roundup. It's really, really pathetic. And it's just, I would love to see all of the planet properly tended to, and we have not been good stewards of this earth, allowing chemical fertilizers to just leach all the nutrition from the soil. They're destroying our soil. Well, Chef Ramsay, you could duplicate his cooking with a salt shaker. He's just a guy who loads a lot of salt in his food. And many people, believe me, have been very successful in the restaurant industry, salting their food heavily. It's not good for the clientele, but the clientele loves it. They like greasy and salty, as long as it's fresh greasy, not bad greasy. People have known for sugar, salt, grease, all seem to bring people into restaurants. It's kind of a weird combination. This is not a hairpiece. This is my real hair. I shampoo it and I let it air dry, and this is how it comes in, man. Yeah. No, it's real. Yeah, I got roots and everything. Yeah, I've been working on preserving my hair because it's difficult. I don't take Propecia, that thing that Donald Trump's former doctor who felt like he was raped when they got that information from him. He actually said that Donald was using a hair growth product, and that really upset Donald, apparently. He was not happy with anyone telling people what he was doing. But I'm not taking Propecia for a reason. I'm not very sure it's safe. I understand there's some effects on the heart that need to be looked at. Yeah. This is David now. Typographic Workbook, a primer to history, techniques in artistry. Wow, typography, right. Nice. I used to look at study woodblock art and things like that. I never really got involved with it, but I was fascinated by it. Typography is certainly interesting. Calligraphy is fun if you really want to play with your hand. You took Propecia and it made me impotent for 2 months. It messes with your hormones. Well, yeah. Especially if you're wanting to have children, yeah. You don't want to do that. Yes, a handwriting book. Alan Dershowitz hired as Harvey Weinstein's consultant. Makes sense. Alan Dershowitz has been dealing with those terrible allegations of being one of Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book members. I mean, his name appears on Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book that was acquired by his butler before the butler died and went public. And the butler had a kind of a weird, quick death. But Alan Dershowitz is suing back to the Jeffrey Epstein allegations. But now he's going to be hired as Harvey Weinstein's... Yeah, I guess he could fight his own case and serve Harvey Weinstein as well. But being a consultant for a guy who's not even being sued, it's kind of like a cush job for him. He doesn't have to worry too much. Yeah, it's kind of an easy peasy job. Right, we're not in alphabetical order. Got to do that. Yeah, Epstein's Black Book. This is the ring of Epstein's knowledge. He was involved with Alan Dershowitz. He's right there in the corner. That's him, closest to him in the picture. Anyway, he was on the book. Donald Trump was number 1 on the Black Book. Many other people, even Bill Clinton, regularly attended Orgy Island. He was there 17 times on official business using U.S. military dollars. 6 times he was there with Hillary at Orgy Island, which is St. James Island, nicknamed Orgy Island. So yeah, hopefully he can help Weinstein, but Weinstein's not being sued, so I don't know what the problem is. I think Harvey Weinstein would be very smart to get Gloria Allred as his attorney. If I were him, I would get her right away, secure that. So that prevents her from representing any of the clients. She probably would just bow out of it. She's a smart lady. No, Harvey, I'm not going to be your attorney. I'm not an attorney. So the same thing. Tick and Time Bag says, what's the difference between Orgy Island and the Lolita Express, David? No difference. There's no difference. They're the same weird connection to his child trafficking sex slave ring. I don't really know, anything about this details, but I do know that the government is not investigating. That's suspicious. That's why this third party is kind of percolating for a lot of good reasons. We need to see some accountability. Now, we're not going to be able to nail everybody to a crime that they committed. That's just overly zealous. What we really have to turn the table on corruption in America. And beginning the process of uprooting these deep-seated problems like Pizzagate, it's going to take a lot more than just the two-party system ignoring it. We're going to have to actually get an investigation into those things. You know how to... It's deep state, yeah. And there's not much a person who's going to help stimulate the economy like me is going to be able to dedicate my time to. So I'll have a team of people at the Justice Department working on 5 different cases. U.S. freezes funds for Syria's white helmets. Good. Because these white helmets have been putting out propaganda claiming that Syria is still using chemical gases, and it's just ridiculous. They even tried to influence Roger Waters of the Pink Floyd group, formerly of the Pink Floyd group. Less than 2 months ago, the State Department hosted members of the White Helmets at Foggy Bottom. At the time, the humanitarian group was showered with praise for saving lives in Syria, but our meetings in March were very positive, they said. There were even remarks from senior officials about long-term commitments even into 2020. There were no suggestions whatsoever about stopping support. Raed Saleh says, the group's leader. Now they're not getting any U.S. funding at the State Department, says the support is under active review. Now remember, I was the one that proposed that we not pay the rebels because it's only funding the growth of ISIS. Well, now it is under active review. Trump followed my position on that, which I thought was really admirable of Trump. The U.S. had accounted for about 1/3 of the group's overall funding. Yeah, so the U.S. was funding these people. So then they started having an incentive to make fake gas attack videos and then make us all think that the gas attacks were still going on. So we really have to vet our information better. I personally think that Donald Trump worked for Russia in attacking Syria. And I believe that happened because they wanted a reason to attack somewhere else. Now they're the extreme consequences are coming, they said. So that gives them a kind of a free pass to do whatever they want, Russia. I also believe that Russia found out about their defenses, Syria's defenses, and didn't even have to test their S-400 in looking at the telemetry of our incoming Tomahawk missiles. It was a learning experience for them. And they didn't lose much. Syria didn't have any major damage done at all. Nobody died in the recent attack, yet our country has spent out, between the first and the second attack, 150 Tomahawks at a cost of $1.8 million apiece. So you're looking at about $300 million wasted. We don't talk about previous elections because nobody counted the votes. Yeah. You got to understand, our election process is completely dead. If you didn't know that, you probably are still voting Republican and Democrat. Yeah, it's kind of sad. Missiles cost over $165 million for the missiles. I think I'm going to put it closer to $300 million, James. That's my take. Well, I'm not mellow. No, I'm kind of concerned about. I'm kind of concerned about the fact that Trump is blowing it every way, every which way, and that so many people still support him. That's what's really kind of weird. They don't understand this is not some fake news item with Russia being involved so closely in his cabinet. This is the face of lies being told to us on a daily basis. If Trump was really trying to stop the deep state, he'd be attacking chemtrails, false flags, Kim Jong-un's transgenderism. I don't know. I think that's just made up. I don't think he doesn't seem like a transgender. Trump, on the other hand, I don't know. The Trump is loving the whole Putin thing. Yeah, and why is he loving Putin? Isn't that obvious that he's working for the Russian government? Isn't it just painfully obvious that he doesn't even know well enough to not kiss his ass? But I will now play Mr. Right because I have been ordered to by Rancid Shrimp Chef. Okay, Rancid Shrimp Chef. I've never cooked rancid shrimp in my life, but here's Mr. Right. Everything I make is really good, pure, organic, tasty, lean.
My feet, my heart stops to beat. Cause you make me melt away. My Mr. Right, too good to be true. My world around, cause you're the peace I find. You sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat. Cause you make me melt away. My feet, my heart stops to beat. Cause you make me melt away. My Mr. Right, too good to be true.
Yeah, right on. It's making me angry that you're getting angry right now. The Jason thing it's over. We played the final cut. That's right. And we still have a phone that's connected to the internet. If you want to call in, our number is 707-YOUR-ATP. Everybody can call in except for Jason. All right. You can play Jason anytime you want, personally. Salty, Daily Hits. Okay. LVP MP officer inside paddock room. We do not have a broken window. Okay. I've got that NBC article, too, that came in. Okay. It's you again. We don't take your calls. Okay, let's take a quick look here at Yeah. Yowza, yowza, yowza. The feds have monitored Trump's lawyer Michael Cohen's phones for some time. That was found out recently. Yes. It's not clear how long the monitoring of phone calls has been authorized, but it's been going on for some time. Earlier today, NBC News reported that there was a wiretap on the phones of Michael Cohen, President Trump's longtime personal attorney, citing two separate sources with knowledge of the legal proceedings involving Cohen. But 3 senior U.S. officials now dispute that, saying that the monitoring of Cohen's phones was limited to a log of calls known as a pen register, not a wiretap where investigators can actually listen to calls. Okay, so now the headline has been revised so that Trump doesn't freak out. Yeah, he was freaking out before. It was a little too much for him. We don't want to upset him too much. A little bit at a time. And U.S. freezes funds for Syrian white helmets. We did that story. We're done there. That's a good thing. I'm glad. Thank you. And here's Stephen Paddock's story about the guy entering the actual room, and they don't see any broken windows. Watch it.
We've got probably at least 10 high-powered weapons in this room. Meg, Sarge, what do you got going there?
We have this contained. There's no need for anybody else up here. If there's other situations going on, then let's address those. We're a code 4 here. We've got patrol units that are clearing down the right.
Keep your ear. I can't tell what direction this room is. Let me get to a window and see.
Hey!
What do you need, Levi?
Sarge!
Here, man. Do you not have a broken window? Well, no, there's several rooms in here. Do you remember what window?
Right where that curtain is, right by the door.
Okay, stand by. We've got curtains open on the window that's not broken.
It's us. 4-8 us. No, it's us. Go ahead. I'm up here. I'm in the room.
Go ahead, Todd.
No windows broken. Not one window broken. Wow. They missed that little detail. Whoa.
Copy that.
Copy that.
It's right here.
Is it? Okay. They had security down at the elevator banks as well. You got it?
We do not have a broken window.
Security's right here. They're right outside the door for you.
Wait, they really, if this is a cover-up, which I think it is, they really screwed this up. He's not even acknowledging the guy's body.
I counted 13 long hairs.
It's unbelievable. These people are that incompetent they can't even fake the cover-up properly. They're in the wrong room. Exactly. Wow. I can see how we need to refine and reform some of our police operations. It's almost unbelievable what we're dealing with here. Oh, they acknowledged the body when they first came in? Okay. But there is no broken window. That's really odd. We know that there were 2 broken windows out of that room alone, let alone others around the entire building. I think it's the IQ level of most hirees at the farce. 107 or below is your cutoff point. If you have a higher IQ than 107, you cannot work for the police departments or sheriff's departments or any public law enforcement agency. I'm not sure if the FBI has that cutoff point, but I wouldn't doubt it. Unreal. I read the chat all the time. What are you talking about, City Critter? Gosh, just because I'm not involved in your little side conversation doesn't mean I'm not reading your chat. We are monitoring your thoughts as well. Please cover your webcam. There's a picture of a Rolls Royce outside your window. Okay. You only get nudists out in the middle of the lake? Oh, really? You've been skinny dipping lately, monkey times? I see that. Cover your webcam, please. Thank you. Or Jeffrey Epstein will see it too. No, seriously, if you are operating your show with your webcam facing you, you may want to, I never made that claim that I'm reading all the chats simultaneously. That would take a master computer, like the Cray supercomputer, running an octagonal drive, very similar to mine, liquid cooled. Technology Thursday is about how we can actually interact, both humans and alternative energy sourced AI. Okay. Are people turning into transhumans? This theory came to my attention recently when I saw that they were spraying chemicals. Sorry, that was a little loud. That'll wake you up. I haven't made bone broth, but I could. I found out that they were spraying nanotechnology chemicals in our air. And I thought, wow, that's weird. And then I was working on my new website, chemtrailparty.com. And I was looking at my link button, and I'm building the link library. And lo and behold, I have an entire section on nanoparticles, possible effects on humans. And this is the weirdest story I've ever seen. It's from datasylum.com, iCamera nano implant. It turns out it's very difficult to take pictures of your own eye, especially when what you're trying to take a picture of is very small. This contends that there is some sort of a nano camera being built in our own ocular system, and it's been designed to drop into the air and reconnect in our system when we're like opening our eyes. I think this is the biggest crock of crap I could ever have put on the site. I know, we all eat a lot of plastic. We are turning into plastic. That's the whole point of the nanoparticle revolution. But I seriously don't believe it's happening. I mean, this is like a real stretch. I'm going to give you the link to it's the weirdest stuff I've ever seen. That they're claiming they're dropping nanoparticles in the air and they're somehow reconnecting and making a camera in our own eye to upload to another link. But then I was reading that there's a camera 1 milliliter in size that actually has a solar panel attached to it and can store memory. This is a major breakthrough. I mean, it's never been heard of that a camera could be the size of 1 millimeter size. I mean, we're talking really small here. So, I mean, the possibility that they could develop nanotechnology that could reconnect in your ocular nerve origin would be almost impossible. But it's possible, unfortunately. So, yeah, I'm here. Here's the site, Datasylum. You can check it out on your own. I just think that's the most preposterous thing, that they're dumping nanoparticles and they're creating cameras in our eyes. Maybe they're dropping fibers that reconnect in our bodies, like cause lung cancer and things. Sure, why not? But it's a little far-fetched to believe that they're able to reassemble into a camera in your eye. That's like technology gone wild. Similar to Girls Gone Wild without the swinging butt and bouncing bodies. Whatever. I don't watch that stuff anyway. Right. Anyway, getting back to the stuff that they're spraying in the air, it's basically an attack on our country that the two parties refuse to acknowledge. It's weather warfare. That's what they're doing to us right now. Committing weather warfare. Yeah, there goes your privacy. Every time you open your eyes, they're looking. I find that incredibly hard to believe. 12 more days, David, still waiting on a response, and the medical examiner is all in the news constantly late. Really? Well, you have a deadline, hell, all day, and you're going to get information from these people, and the news is looking at it. You've got positive things happening your way. That's Oma and her quest to find out more information about this child trafficking operation in her area of the country. You're drinking beer. You're proud of the fact that you drink beer. You're a daily drinker. Oh, and body parts. Yeah, there's a whole body parts industry in the South that people aren't aware of. I would love to be able to find out who the hell is profiting from this, but I don't have the power. I don't have the ability and the scope to investigate it. I bet. You actually believed in the Holo hoax at one point, and now you realize it really did happen and those poor people were killed. I know. These people that want to believe that the Holocaust didn't happen, they say that, oh, they died of typhus. They were in concentration camps. I mean, against their will. I mean, of course, that's called killing them. If they died of typhus, that's still death. I don't really want to see the latest, no. I want to see the oldest. I'm kind of a connoisseur of old things, believe it or not. I'm a collector of sorts. I collect ephemera. If you have to know what that means, you don't want to know. Nobody cares what that means. Ephemera. Sounds very effeminate, doesn't it? Sounds very effeminate. Ephemera is anything from the past. I have an old, like a knife from my grandfather's chopping block dating back to the 1860s. It was actually my great-grandfather's knife. Yeah. Pretty powerful. It's like a huge cleaver that my grandfather had and he passed on to my father. Just things like that, you know, little ephemera. Whoops, Jared Kushner made even more mistakes in his federal filings. Wow, here's a guy who's just by the daily read of all the details, the top secret information is still privy to Jared Kushner. He's still getting information. He reads all that information and uses it to help try to get it out of deals. Like he's trying to sell that property, Kushner Building on 666 Fifth Avenue. It keeps happening. Jared Kushner filed the wrong information about 2 of his loans in Brooklyn. He had to update his disclosure form at least 40 times. Wow. He seems like a scared rabbit, you know? He doesn't have exudes a tremendous amount of personal composure. And not many people have actually heard him speak. There are only like 4 or 5 words he said in front of a camera, I think, that has been noted. Marmy, maybe once a bottle, or no, something else. But his ethics disclosure filing misstated the financials on 2 Brooklyn loans, the latest in a long series of errors and omissions. Marmy. He looks like a middle-aged soccer mom with a lot of plastic surgery, yeah.
He's got a really high-pitched voice.
Well, let me go for a quest and see if I can get Jared Kushner speaks. I think he's spoken at the Goldman Sachs meetings. They only like him because he's so manipulatable. That's why they keep him around. Let's see if we can hear him speak. 1 minute. Finally, here we go. Well, let's be clear. I've been giving Jared certain lessons. Michelle and I have been.
He has been seen but not heard, silently watching President Trump sign orders. Jared Kushner is usually in the middle of the action, but publicly mummed.
Well, thank you very much, Rudy.
Sitting at the president's side, but never a peep out of it.
Have you ever heard him speak? Seriously, what does his voice sound like?
My main business is real estate. I also own a newspaper and some other websites and online media businesses.
But we now know the president's son-in-law doesn't really sound like Gilbert Gottfried, because at a session with technology leaders Monday, Jared Kushner finally used his vocal cords. So without further ado, drum roll please, we present the actual voice of Jared Kushner.
He talks like Jeannie Moos. That's right. And her voice is so really well loved.
The Department of Defense, for example, still uses 8-inch floppy disks.
No wonder.
Okay, that's all we got. The Department of Defense still uses 8-inch floppy disks. Gilbert was better. I thought Jeannie Moos' voice was superior to that. But yeah, there you go. Now you know. And if you want to find out about those things that we're spraying in the air, is geoengineering, weather modification, not modification, and climate engineering are some of the buzzwords that you want to look up. We're going to have to fix that spelling error. Yes, I order them to remove it. So last night we had a really fun show. It was great. I ended the show with a sign-off from 1979, WPIX. It was great. It had kind of a feeling of retro, you know, the whole feeling. And somebody said, could you do that every night when we sign off? Sure, whatever you want. It was like in the old days, you got to see the flag at 1 o'clock in the morning on some channels, and that's all you'd see. You have no idea what's really behind it? Really? Project Myriad, the dark side of chemtrails. This is from Dr. Meow, the mysterious felinologist. Designed to be dropped by high-altitude bombers, Myriad doesn't use any explosive, but is able to create a fog on an airport about 7 feet high, composed of micromagnetic particles of high-density compound, not disclosed, able to repel each other, thus creating a persistent effect of auto-levitation. The objective is to maintain auto-levitation fog that stays on the runways and the airports for hours, even days, depending on the current wind, making any plane trying to take off will have its engine shut down because of the amount of particles entering its front vent. Some will shut down during takeoff, blocking the runway. Others will shut down the engines, causing a takeoff crash. Since no plane can take off, you have air superiority without a fight. Used in conjunction with jammers, the enemy target is blind and the missile's air defenses cannot work. Myriad is designed to be a non-lethal way to incapacitate country's zone in a non-lethal manner, with almost no collateral damage. Then they surrender or you carpet bomb the crap out of them like shooting fish in a barrel. Hey, thanks. Coming from the FSB agent, Dr. Meow. You know, he's been camping out in our room since the Russians started censoring our show back in 2008. Yeah, ever since they found out about the growth of this political movement, they've been censoring me. And that's Dr. Meow's contribution, warning Myriad chemtrail magnetic dump. Well, you never factored in the simple design of my incredible dirigible, which I designed to counter the effects of your Myriad weapon. It will not stand a chance against the amazing and indisputably great blimp plane. We don't need air to go through our fuselage to get up in the air. We just simply float. Your magnetic particles will have no bearing on our blimp plane capacity, which will have the ultimate ability to fly in a stealth way using video cloaking technology. This technology, accompanied with the hydrophobic shield, will be completely frictionless and without any sight during the evening or day. It will be a stealth vehicle that can elude your evil attack on our defenses. You don't see anything. Everything's been reworked. But that's enough of that. We don't want to share any more top secret information in this room with an FSB person. No, the blimp plane will not be the new Hindenburg. It can't. It'll have 20 parachutes designed to hold it up, and nothing will happen to its people. They'll all be landing safely, almost like the hand of God cradled you as you landed. The parachute system will deploy. The underside will be made out of compressed, recycled styrofoam from McDonald's plates and cups. Because I've been looking for a way of using the styrofoam that McDonald's throws in the garbage. And I think I've got the way. We can compress it and make flotation devices for our blimp planes. No, that's not exactly what it means, but since you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. But I like your theory that you could dump magnetic particles over an entire airport and totally nullify your enemy. Yeah, I hope the government's researching this. I appreciate you bringing that up. All you'd have to do is fly through that mass of magnetic particles with a big magnet, and it would suck it right in. And then you'd get heavier as you go. So the blimp planes will be equipped with massive magnets that will suck all of your little particles up and make it totally clear for any other plane to fly. Gotcha. The blimp plane wins again. Dun da 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 da. Yes, it's amazing, isn't it? I can't stop. I'm on a roll. Okay, thank you very much for that interlude. Okay, any other questions? We can go into deep details like, it's fake news, it's a lot of a witch hunt, and it's disgraceful. We'll respond to any of your questions with those 3 words. Go ahead. The blimp plane doesn't even have a landing footprint. We don't even need a runway. That's the beautiful thing. They can take off from the tarmac. Yeah. They'll take off right. You get in the blimp plane, it just starts lifting into the heavens. Hallelujah. The blimp plane. And I will talk about the vape lounge a little bit later when we give you more details on the blimp plane. Warning profanity. Uh-oh.
Get your pistols out. God damn it, get your pistols.
Wow, that looks like a fun show. I hope this is ethnically appropriate, because it is a black person who's, we don't want to in any way be biased here. Thank you. It will be in my lineup. Thank you so much. I have to watch that. China installs cruise missiles in the South China Sea. That's what I thought they were doing. I'm sure our government satellites have taken pictures of those missiles. Those stinkers. They are the actual stinker missile defense system. China has installed the anti-ship cruise missiles and surface-to-air missile systems on 3 of its outposts in Southeast China. Makes sense that they'd want to just fire on any ship in the region, you know? Yeah. Wow, they got quite a little installation there, don't they? That would take more than a few tactical nukes and a couple bunker buster bombs, but I guess it's possible. China has made no mention of any missile deployments, but says its military facilities in the Spratleys are purely defensive, and that it can do what it likes on its own territory. Well, that's interesting. That's assuming it is their own territory. All right, well, hopefully that we'll be able to at least get to a common agreement as to where we're at and where they're at on that issue someday soon. And if things go real well and North Korea captures Donald Trump and uses him as bait, God, that would be horrible, wouldn't it? Why would Donald Trump want to go meet Kim Jong-un when he has his entire army standing around there with guns that could easily hurt him? What's wrong with Donald Trump? Why would he want to go over and shake the hand of a mass murderer? I don't understand. Maybe some of you can explain that to me. They are using lasers to target U.S. pilots flying over its base. That's correct. They have every right to defend their airspace above their land. Furthermore, it's not really an issue that we need to worry about right now. Sassy Trump and Macron. Oh, this should be special.
President, they're all saying what a great relationship we have. That little piece of hand drop off. Oh. It'll be. You have to make it perfect. He is perfect. Emmanuel. I guess all right. Totally up to Nick. Merci. Thank you. I like him a lot. Let me give you my face. How's my face?
I gotta tell you, I am a little bit freaked out. And being I'm a heterosexual man, when I see two homosexual men touch each other like that, it makes me feel weird. Yeah. It kind of... Do you mind if I postpone the rest of that? I'm just getting a little freaked out. Yeah, I'd rather not watch gay relations going on in front of me. But I will play it tonight in our show, our big lineup. You bet. Let's not forget the importance of allowing homosexuals to do whatever they want in public, but why would you read something sexual in that? Well, the men, come on, it's incredibly awkward for two men to be touching each other effusively. Men don't touch each other. There's like an 18-inch space between one hetero and another. Like, get away from me. You're standing a bit too close there, buddy. Well, there's another urinal down there. Yeah. What? Dave? I'm not sure what you're saying, but I'm going to remove you from the show. Thank you. Purging monkey times for any statements related to that. A record-breaking drone ended with quadcopters falling from the sky. God, what's with this noise? Trump had a little boy toy there, and I'm sure it was a wonderful meet and greet, but it didn't accomplish anything. And I think Macron is ridiculous for wanting to extend a ridiculous treaty that Iran hasn't even honored the primary necessary agreement in good faith. They've not allowed the IAEA to go in and look at the nuclear weapon that they created. That's huge. We need to get that out there before Macron could ever have his way. Okay, this is a picture. I can't play the music for fear it's going to be monetized in China. But we're going to be looking at something here. Okay, the drones are going to crash, or what's going to happen? I'm not reading this in English. Very cool, though, I must say. This is all accomplished with drones. Wow, that's fascinating. But keep your eye on the drone mass. This is not a proven technology. This is... Okay. What are we looking at? It's failing. We have system failure. They're dropping from the skies. They're crashing. Uh-oh. Oh no, look at this. They're just bouncing. These massive drones. Danger. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. This has been a reported broadcast from some source in Asia. I cannot verify. Danger, Will Robinson. William. Rancid Shrimpstaff, you're sounding very homosexual. I'm going to purge you too. Hey, you can be gay here. Just don't hit on other heterosexual men here. Appreciate it. Thank you. Talking about boyfriends. Guys who are straight don't say, oh, yes, my boyfriend. That's just ridiculous. You got friends. You don't have boyfriends. Unreal. You people want to legitimize your perverted behavior, go right ahead. But not on our time. Thank you. That's very homophobic. Hey, are we allowed to speak our mind about you not harassing heterosexual people here? Thank you. Oh yeah, I know. The Voice is really teasing these gay men, you know. Did you hear the recent reveal that Clooney, George Clooney, is openly saying he's gay? Have you seen that? And that he may very well be married to, well, a dude, kind of like Obama is with Michael. Yeah, his wife is, they're saying, could very well be a transsexual. Hey, we featured in our show the other day. He actually tweeted something to that effect. I don't even want to bother talking about it. Who cares? If he's gay, that's great. If he's married to a tranny, who cares? I don't care. Yeah, let's stop promoting this transgenderism, though. That seems to be the New World Order plan. Now, if you were a Democrat and you voted for Bernie or Hillary, you're kind of clueless when it comes to knowing about the New World Order. If you're a Republican and really believe in American business and think they really do care about people, then you're a total idiot and have to realize that trickle-down economics is about as healthy as diarrhea. It didn't work. People didn't get anything. No food their way. So, you too are probably wondering about the New World Order. And some of you were tuned into the idea that Ron Paul talked about ending the Fed, and I'm glad you did. But it's really a bigger New World Order problem that has been persistent, taking down countries' barriers. Now, it's arguable that our country was used by the New World Order to take down the Soviet Union and break it up in the early 1990s. And there's solid evidence that suggests that we were funding an attack on their economy. Our government was. So they have every right to be angry at all of the people in our government that they think that had something to do with that, like George H.W. Bush. So I'm not personally angry at Russia for being used by the New World Order right now to control our government and break our country's boundaries down. But you see, that's what's happening. Russia is being used by the New World Order now. Putin is simply a puppet in their effort to control our country. And they've used a tool to do it. They found a very, very weak man in the form of Donald Trump, who is clearly greedy beyond all of our expectations and very vulnerable to a little sex play with women, as evinced by his many different sexual misconduct allegations. Looking at them in entirety, you have to say, well, there's a propensity of this man to actually commit adultery. Okay? And I know Ivanka doesn't want to hear that, but her dad may be a little horn-toad, for all we know. Bottom line is, he's in the Oval Office privately right now with his newest squeeze, God knows what her name is. Carolyn Sunshine. Please come to the main desk. Carolyn Sunshine. He hired a Disneyland YouTube star to be his press assistant. And he doesn't have audio tape of the Oval Office. We don't know what goes on. We do know that Hope Hicks spent a lot of time in the Oval Office in the position of director of communications. Now he changed it to press assistant. But either way, this is a very beautiful woman in a closed door situation who stands by his side all the time. Why do you hate Trump? Trump has already violated our national security, he's demeaned the office of the presidency with his unbelievably I'm ashamed to say that he's our president. His behavior is inexcusable, and now lying about not paying Michael Cohen, lying about it. He said on that newspaper right on the plane, he said no, I don't know anything about it. No, right there.
I hear your response earlier about Scott Pruitt. Are you saying about Pruitt? I couldn't hear it.
I think that Scott has done a fantastic job. I think he's a fantastic person. I just left.
About the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels. Then why did Michael Cohen make this if there was no truth or allegations?
Well, you have to ask Michael Cohen. Michael's my attorney, and you'll have to ask Michael.
Do you know where he got the money to make that payment?
No, I don't know.
We just caught him lying twice. First he said no, he didn't know anything about it, which is a lie. And second of all, he said he didn't know where the money came from. And now this big new boondoggle that Giuliani cooked up, which is bizarre. It's like, oh yeah, let's throw this tangent into the mix. Let's see if the sex scandal, we'll use that to our favor. By diverting our attention from the Russian involvement? I mean, seriously. Really? Why don't you just start a nuclear war and really divert our attention? I mean, peace with a man like Kim Jong-un, a mass murderer, is one thing. Shaking his hand is another. Getting him to agree to nuclear removal and denuclearization is a huge leap. We haven't heard Kim Jong-un utter those words. Rocket Man never said he would get rid of one rocket. Ever. Read my lips. No more rockets. Okay, you've got Jake's girlfriend. Great. Is this a joke? I mean, is that video I put in there from Mad Dog, is that like, are you making fun of this black woman? Seriously? Because it sounds like you are, and that's not cool. Yeah, I don't think it's appropriate to make fun of anybody, especially a black woman who's speaking her mind. Now, this woman is not supposed to be the bane of your humor, dude. So I'm going to pull that out of the lineup because I don't think that's appropriate if you're going to be making fun of her. She's lady from Trailer Park Boys? Oh, okay, that's cool. Thank you. That makes it so much better when other people do it. Oh, that's much safer. We'll do that then. Hi, Hawaii. Hi, Hawaii. I used to think this was Hawaii, but it's Hawaii. ZTE phones banned by the Pentagon over spying fears, neither sold nor banned by Canadian military. The Pentagon banned the sale of Hawaii and ZTE phones on military bases. And while the devices are not sold on the Canadian basis, federal officials are still saying little about whether they share American fears the devices could be used to spy on soldiers. I wish that our government could have put a technology team together that actually knew something about technology, instead of being a bunch of idiots standing there talking to Zuckerberg, and Zuckerberg laughing at them under his breath, knowing full well he's going to go out and put questionnaires in the mail right after he's told that he's violated the privacy of everybody who's been using third-party vendors at his site. We had two horrible choices. That's a good reason to support a third choice. You're right. Dave, you stop it. I can't understand what you're saying. You stop it. What do you mean? Restarted. Spell better. Yeah, you despise Trump, but why be forced to choose between Hillary or Trump? Oh my God, Trump is an idiot, but he's better than Hillary. Oh well, let me vote. Yeah, that pretty much sums it all up. Guess 649. Yeah, that was pretty much all we had in front of us. We had this big black space to choose the right person. And I wasn't even allowed to even enter the races in 2008, 2012, 2016, and still no press whatsoever allowed of me in America, which is kind of ironic, you know, considering how else is America going to fix itself unless one of their own can come up with good ideas for the country and articulate a pathway out of the crap hole we are in. Not Haiti, I'm talking we. We are in a crap hole. Our cities are in dire need of money. We don't need to throw money into Tomahawk missiles and take out some education facility that Assad has. I mean, I can't imagine miscalculations like that. It makes no sense why we would telegraph our actions in Syria, other than the fact that Trump got a call from Vladimir Putin saying, "Mr. President, we will show sex tape if you do not do as we say. We want you to take out Syrian targets, so that we look good, that we can come back and have greater extreme consequences and be justified. Okay? Do as we say." So they've got a pass now. They can do whatever they want, courtesy of Donald Trump's ineptitude. Plus, they did figure out how the missiles come in, the trajectory. They know where to stop them. They know that most of the missiles were stopped by Syria's defenses, which is very interesting. Changes the dynamic completely. It's like they're testing conventional weaponry, courtesy of Donald Trump and his but Vladdy, I don't want you to release the PP tape. No, please don't. No. I'm glad you're enjoying this conversation I'm having with myself. That's why I do this, because it's so fun. Get down. Let's do this. This is America's Third Party, and I'm David Sponheim, and we're going to chat about the truth. So join us nightly from 5 to 10 p.m. and encounter interactive virtual chat like you've never heard before. That was a real mellow little teaser there, just to kind of throw stuff out there. I get tired of this pacing that I get on sometimes when I'm drinking coffee and talking about the news. It's a little too much. It really is. Yeah, so Giuliani may have exposed Trump to new, a whole new set of problems. That's the newest story at Google, just like I said. New legal and political perils. Yep. Timeline of Trump's explanations for the Stormy Daniels payment and how he's changed his position. Hey, this guy lies 5 times a day. It's amazing it's taken a year and a half to catch him in one big lie. I mean, really. This is amazing. You're in a Turkish cafe casting me on a big screen. 327 people here watching, cheering you on. Thank you. Thank you, Turkey. We are certainly hopeful your country can remain strong. We want all of you to prosper. Yeah, the New World Order has taken over, but the point of the matter is, do we need to be their point man? Do we need to be their 9/11 around the world? Because the real question the world is wondering is, how long is America going to be used by these powerful elitists to conduct military operations which destabilize world peace? I don't want to be used as their go-between, as a person to start wars in Syria. I'm not that kind of a person. We got bigger problems in America to deal with than to focus on other countries, their problems. And that's the beautiful thing about the nation-state model, is we all can control our own destinies. And that's why we don't need a new world order. You see my point? Oh yeah, I heard a whole story from one of the councilwomen that was speaking on this on NPR. And she used the word 627 times in a 25-minute period. I couldn't believe it. I was counting them. Yeah. I'm not going to name her name because she'll be upset. But she was referring to the whole fact that Amazon is not to be held necessarily responsible for the tax issues. She didn't seem to take a stand against Jeff Bezos at all. But bottom line is that the city of Seattle is running out of money because they are liberal Democrats who tax and spend, very progressive and wasteful. But they've got a lot of people who are now needing services like homeless people, and their high rent districts aren't cutting it. So they're levying more taxes on businesses like Amazon. But the question is, if Amazon pauses the huge development plan in Seattle, they could go anywhere in the country and go for a cheaper price. It does seem to me like Jeff Bezos is the kind of guy who would not want to be screwed over financially. He seems to always get the better of the deal, like his deal with the USPS, which I know that Trump has talked about, and I've been talking about it for 4 years now, so I think he's been following me on that one. But I think Jeff Bezos is not the kind of person who's going to sit back and say, oh yeah, sure, tax me to oblivion and I will continue to do business in Seattle.
You want to be a dancer. I don't know what you want to do.
I'm not sure my boss is going to like that.
But you do need to follow your passions.
Right.
I would love for it to be after I'm dead.
Okay, well, that I don't want bad things to happen to you, Jeff. Just, a little bit concerned that your greed has gotten out of control. $130 billion in wanting to not pay taxes. Not to mention the tax breaks that have happened recently. So yeah, he may want to reassess his position in Seattle. Yeah. Jeff Bezos didn't pay any taxes on $542 million last year. He got money back, actually. He got a kickback. It's kind of bizarre. He's got all kinds of shelters. He's very clever. He's not the kind of guy who... he wouldn't have $130 billion if he wasn't catering to number one, Jeff Bezos. When he first got investment money in Amazon, he took $17 billion and put it in his personal checking account. Yeah, he's really shrewd with his money. And there's no law against being greedy and shrewd with your money.
40 minutes with you, it's already clicking down. We're going to use...
Yeah, but that's the bottom line, is these people are going to continue to make money on their money, and we're going to get hosed. Because they can manipulate the system and we don't have any representation. We're basically the losers in every deal. Ever since corporations took over our government, and there was a willful attempt to do that in the 1950s and 60s, ever since that happened, we the American people have been put to the wayside. Constituents we're called. But the real people are the people that get people money to get reelected. They're the ones that are getting the big perks from all congressmen. Because congressmen and congresswomen seem to be like whores. They'll do whatever, $5,000 will get them. That's the problem. We've got corruption within the ranks that they don't listen to their constituents. They don't care. Okay, now Israel has got solid information. I've been saying this for a long time. That's one of the reasons why I suggested we scrap the Iran deal that Barack Obama put together. Israel reveals new information, presses U.S. to scrap Iran deal. Yeah, new claims that Iran has been secretly working for years to build a nuclear weapon and therefore cannot be trusted to hold up their end of the Iran deal. Yeah, I agree. But there is strong beliefs from the Ayatollah Khamenei that the U.S. is trying to create friction with Saudi Arabia and Iran, using all kinds of means to drive a wedge between those two countries. I actually see their point. So maybe there's some in-between area where Iran can have their nuclear weapon and they can show it to the IAEA, and at the same time we can ask Israel to sign the nuclear non-proliferation agreement, because technically they should not be receiving any money from the U.S. government at all, Israel, if they don't sign a nuclear non-proliferation agreement. So maybe the new deal we should put together is just the old deal, the nuclear non-proliferation agreement, and have both Iran and Israel sign it, or they admit to having nuclear weapons. That would be great. Yeah, but let's stop naming and blaming and driving a wedge here between these two factions. Let's see if we can find some common ground. Because they are going to have a nuclear weapon. Just like North Korea is going to continue to have their nuclear weapons. And I doubt he's going to offer one or two in exchange. in this meeting with Trump, but whatever. I don't even think Trump's safe in the meeting, personally. I think it's a big mistake. Wow, that is so refreshing. I've got this little fruit mist thing I found. Fantastic. I felt like a dead piece of plastic waste in the ocean. And now I feel fresh and renewed. And there's a trick I learned. I used to drive. I pushed my limits with driving. Don't ever do this, by the way. But when you feel that sleepy feeling when you're driving, you can simply get a thing like this or a spray bottle, a small spray bottle will do, and just put water in it, purified water, and spray your face. It wakes you up. You can do it as much as you want on the road trips, but you shouldn't be driving when you're sleepy. Fact is, you should pull over at a rest area and get a few, like 3 hours sleep, and then get back on the road. But it does help to spray water in your face. Yeah, well, that is scary, but it's been going on. We never really stopped their efforts to have a nuke. Obama actually built it into the treaty for Iran to have one nuclear weapon after 15 months. And there's some provisions called the sunset provisions that are in the treaty that expire, and I would not in any way allow Iran to have these provisions expire, because what they are really are checks and balances to make sure that Iran isn't just screaming forward with nuclear weapons productions. But again, without any overt statement from Israel about their nuclear capacity, and we're getting all kinds of side information like the WikiLeaks reveal of Colin Powell's letter to Hillary Clinton, where he said that he knew that Israel was sold 200 nuclear weapons by the U.S. That's all we know. That's it. That's all we know about Israel's nuclear weapons is what Colin Powell slipped out in an email on WikiLeaks. That's it. We don't know anything else about Israel's nuclear weapon capability. There are many theories that they've got a doomsday weapon and all kinds of things. So Israel does not want to be attacked, and they have every right to maintain their position, just as Iran has their right to defend their country. So we have to look at all the parameters of everybody's rights within the nation-state model. This global New World Order idea where they erase the nation-state model and get rid of nations, like they're trying to do now with our country, like they did with the Soviet Union. It's a big mistake when we see one group of people try to rule the world. It's always been a failure. Hitler failed at it. Caesar failed at it. Napoleon failed at it. Attila the Hun failed at it. Did I miss any others? Stalin failed at it. The nation-state model has persisted for thousands of years. There's no way it's going anywhere. The fact is, any attempt to break it down, even with all the communications and all the powers that the New World Order has, will be a failure. Because there's an inherent fact that they're not dealing with. People will always stand their own ground. And when you import troops into a region, they usually fail. Look what happened when the North Vietnam people defended they stood their ground against the South Vietnamese and U.S.-backed troops. Look what happened there. Hey, you're back. Welcome. So some things will stand the test of time, and I think the nation-state model will put these corrupt people packing eventually, because we will always be able to retain our borders. These people want to erase the borders, and if they try to do this using technology like swarm drones, things that could be attacking our entire communities, or what Meow TV said earlier, the Myriad weapon, which takes out all flights in and out of airports. If they try to use these weapons against people, there are always ways in which people who have the will and the intention, can subvert their attempts to take them down. And that's exactly what usually happens. You get rebels fighting in caves to protect their homeland. And you have these paid soldiers that come in and just think that they're doing their job. They end up dying. Because people who want to live always put out a lot more courage than people who don't, or don't care. All right. Vaughn TV can't really get on a smartphone. Which are you using, the Puffin browser? What browser are you using? Oh, the new HTML5 is working. Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, when Mark upgraded to HTML5 for the video and audio signals, he did have the ability to go cross-platform, so that's good. You're testing out Linux Mint. It runs super fast compared to Windows. Yeah, I heard about it the other night. I was wondering if we should try it on our computer, one of our computers. You're right. Windows is loaded with so much crap. This new Linux Mint is the talk of the town. We talked about it on our show. I think it's Linux Mint version 18 or 2018, 18.3. Here's the new features of this this operating system, which seems to be able to run Windows in a small screen. It's a long-term support release which will be supported until 2021. It comes with an updated software and brings refinements and many new features to make your desktop experience more comfortable to use. The star of Mint, Linux Mint 18.3 is the software manager. Although the App Store has already existed in Android and iOS, and similar concepts have been developed in others. One of the first is popular software applications such as Spotify, WhatsApp, Skype, Google Earth, Steam, Minecraft are now featured and very easy to install. So you can get Steam to work on there, and you can do gaming. That might help with the speed of the computer. Its interface looks more modern, and its layout is inspired. Okay. I could see trying it on an old desktop and see what it looks like. I'm just, so hesitant to enter the Linux world, even though it's true. Windows is built on a mountain of bad code. They never stopped making the bad code because they had expanded memory, and Bill Gates profited from this expanded, cheaper memory capability. So they never wanted to fix their system. But Mint is definitely lighter. That's good. Steam will work on Ubuntu. I think Linux Mint is a later version of Ubuntu. That's what I was told. Surfing and stuff, it's a lot faster. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I've got that Windows 8 running on this laptop, and I'm going to probably want to burn a new operating system on it. I'm just a little concerned about running XSplit on in a screen on Windows, because XSplit won't run on Linux. And I really like XSplit. That's my biggest concern. That's why I'm not applying it. But this newest download, Linux Mint, looks like the best one for anybody who wants to just get started with Linux. People are bragging about it. Scissorfight put it on his system. I'm just a little bit worried about, like I said, XSplit running on a Windows operating within the Linux Mint system. So. Yeah, a lot of Windows stuff won't run on Linux. And that's my biggest problem with video software, is we've always had compatibility issues with the Windows version we have. Like Windows 8 won't run the newest version of XSplit. So we're thinking of when we get this computer repaired on our laptop that we use today for the cooking show, it's got a little line in it, and we have we bought a warranty on it. So we're going to have them fix the monitor. But I'm thinking of having them update Windows 10.
A focus mode? In Windows 10? No,
really?
I haven't done that.
I haven't tried the focus mode, no. But Windows 8 sucks. Really does. Windows 7 is better. I could run Mint on a DVD to test it. Yeah. I just don't want to mess with the operating system. I'd rather just upgrade from Windows 8 to Windows 10 directly and not put Windows Mint on there. But I think we should run Windows Mint on that computer.
Oh, okay.
Just to test it out sometime in the future. So, were you able to eat that? Was it okay?
Oh, it was good.
It has good taste to it.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, I'm going to have a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Just a bit.
Yeah, I ate that. Everything you left on the stove, so.
Oh, okay, good.
To make your own.
Well, I may not even have that. I'm not really in the mood for beef. Did it all fit that one container? Perfectly? Wow. So you put it in the fridge?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. It's cooling off. Good. She's got the biggest amount of ground beef anybody's ever taken to a party. It's going to be like...
I'm sure I'll be bringing some home.
Yeah.
But it's so good, maybe I won't be bringing any home.
Just put the spoon there and let them go at it, man. That's going to be great. They'll have super tacos.
But other people are bringing other meats.
Yeah, you got turkey, like a turkey comparison.
Turkey. Somebody said shredded chicken, and somebody said
okay.
Fish. So.
Okay, well, it's going to be one amazing taco feast. All right, thank you.
Oh, some chick got bit by a tick and now can't eat beef. That is weird. But true? Okay. I know. When do we eat? Tomorrow. Cinco de Mayo kind of feast thing. I only like cilantro in salsa. I don't like cilantro, like, in general. I usually don't like cilantro. And my salsa can be with or without cilantro. I probably almost prefer it. I mean, it's okay. It adds to salsa, but that's about it. I definitely don't. I'm not I hate cilantro. And, I had this dish one time. It was rice, cilantro in a rice dish. And cilantro to me just tastes like dishwater. Oh, it's gross. No, obviously I don't like cilantro. You like my big hair? Thanks, Laura. That seals it. Seals the deal. Tacos for you for dinner tonight. I guess it does depend how cilantro is prepared. Does it not always taste like dishwater? Parsley is okay. I don't mind parsley. But I wouldn't put parsley in a salsa. Yeah, I do taste soap with... I guess I don't know how to do cilantro. How to eat it. Some of us might find this video helpful. I did not read the psychological paper.
So the first thing you want to do is open up your...
How to Google something. That's hilarious. But I do believe you that most people either love or hate cilantro. So what, are you supposed to find someone that's the opposite of you? Because David, I think, loves cilantro and I hate it. So I don't know. Parsley goes well with salsa. I don't know. I never knew that, great God. If you lose your sense of smelling peanut butter, it's a sign of early onset Alzheimer's. Okay. David made taco meats, tacos, but a lot of taco meat because I'm taking taco meat to I'm taking it to a potluck tomorrow. Just the meat, like somebody's going to bring the taco shells and I'm bringing the taco meat. So it was so we made tacos, but it was like hamburger and taco meat seasoning and onions and peppers and a little bit of salsa all mixed together. It was really good. I could see that fresh parsley going well with almost anything. We came in late to the cast. Yeah, it was hamburger meat. I said, here, David, go pick up some hamburger meat for me. And then, oh, well, don't you need something to cook on Thursday? And I need this meat on Friday, so why don't you just cook it up for me, too? So, anyway. And it's pretty funny. That is hilarious. Lead guitar, rhythm guitar. That's funny. If you read it, hilarious, Matt Dog. Okay. Then don't drink alcohol, pirates. Yes, coriander is the seed of cilantro. I don't do coriander seeds either. How many tacos did I eat tonight? Just one. And then I'm going to a taco For lunch tomorrow, I'm doing a taco potluck, and then for dinner tomorrow, I'm doing a taco at a taco restaurant. I think. Oh, yeah, there is bacteria that eats plastic, but they're just keeping it in the lab because they're afraid of getting it out. He added taco sauce, spices. What is wrong? This is wrong. Fix it, please, Sarah. I don't know what's wrong. Yeah, oh, Mr. Bill, who is collecting signatures to put David on the ballot? Are you? Yes, in a way, tacos by committee. There's a party planning committee to figure out that we're gonna have a taco potluck. Oh, not allowing the use of fungi to eat plastics is wrong. Yeah, I agree with you there. There's bacteria that eats petroleum and bacteria that eats plastic. So let it eat the plastic. Add it to the methane plants. As long as it doesn't eat the methane plants. Good night, Mad Dog. I feel like doing that too, going to sleep. But I never do. I always go in another room and then I do schoolwork or I watch TV or something anyway. I should just go to sleep. If you say so, chat room celebrity. I'm glad better on you than me. Do I know which country eats more meat per person all over the world? I don't, Mac Dundee. But I would think I would guess it's US, followed by Australia, followed by Argentina. Oh, Uruguay. Who knew? You tried sriracha and you fell in love with sriracha sauce. Ooh, interesting. Sriracha can be pretty hot. Thank you. I have been. I hope I'm not gaining too much weight, doctor. But I think I'm still 12. 80 kilograms per person per year. Wow. It's a little on the spicy side, but it's a certain type of spice, sriracha. Yeah, some people really like it. Ha, thank you, 108. I don't know why. Just because I am a peaceful person? I've heard of asado. I think I've heard of it. Oh, it's like a barbecue. Uruguayan way. Oh, an asado. Oh, that's where carne asada comes from, right? Which is like beef. Barbecue beef. And frango asado is chicken in the oven. Yes. I am still teaching. Do you guys, so we were talking about vowels. Should we get back into the vowel discussion or more about adjectives and adverbs? Parts of speech. Basically, though, what you need to know is every word is made up of syllables, and each syllable has a vowel sound. It's whatever I want to talk about. Sounds good. And I'll just talk until David comes back. And sometimes I don't talk about anything super important. I could look at the news, but do I really want to? Not really. I don't. That's the truth of it. All living beings, like grass, is a living being. Well, I was looking at a video on nouns and pronouns today. And then so what you could do is adjective, noun, verb, adverb. Sad, Sam, sat, silently. Oh, I just did what's called an alliteration, which is using the first sound at the beginning of all of my words. Different than allusion. An allusion starting with an A is referring to something that might be in another text, and usually you would think like most people have read it. Like, he was as strong as Hercules. Well, if nobody knew who Hercules was, it wouldn't be an allusion. Okay. Yeah, so maybe I should check the news though. Let's do a little bit of business trivia. Working through my book on cultural literacy. Ago. What is an association in which producers of a similar or identical product try to obtain a monopoly over the sale of the product? For instance, OPEC is one of these. Starts with letter C. Yes, Benji. Cartel. What is Latin for let the buyer beware? It means the customer should be cautious and alert to the possibility of being cheated. They say this is the first rule of buying a used car. It is caveat emptor. What are bonds issued by banks and savings and loan associations to individual investors? They have terms ranging from a few months to several years. In general, the longer the term, the higher the interest rate that they bear. At the expiration of the term, investors may withdraw both the principal and the interest, but penalties are imposed for early withdrawal. Correct, Rex. Certificates of deposit. CDs. What is one of many retail stores owned by a single corporation and offering similar products. Examples include Safeway or Costco or... Yes, Benji, you're right. It's a chain. Hi, Lou. How are you? Oh, I like that guess, 108. What is a provision of the U.S. law which enables a failing firm to apply to the courts for protection against all creditors while it reorganized to pay its debt? Its debts. This provision enables a firm to avoid being closed down by any single creditor and gives investors a chance to decide whether the firm can again be made profitable. At the same time, it gives dishonest management the opportunity to loot the firm's assets while the case is before the courts. It is Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Who was an American labor leader of the 20th century? In the 1960s, he organized food harvesters in California, many of them Mexican Americans like himself, into the United Farm Workers. This labor union led nationwide boycotts against the table grape industry and the lettuce industry in the 1960s and 1970s. He is known for his commitment to nonviolent resistance. Correct, Benji? And 108, Cesar Chavez, yes. What are charges advanced in a court by one or more plaintiffs on behalf of a large group of others who have a common interest? So it's like all these people get together, but they don't go to school. Yes, James Packer. Class action lawsuit. Okay.
The chest of old photographs, crumbling documents found 35 years ago in France. As kids...
That's cool. Anthony Bourdain, no reservations, Uruguay. You're right, my brain is kind of shut off. Out to lunch. I think I'm going to stop the trivia for now. Oh my goodness. Benji says, please pray for Ben's cat Durante. He might have to be put down tomorrow, but we're all hoping he pulls through. Poor cat. What happened? Do you care to share? Yeah, I have a soft spot in my heart for kitty cats. As you know, I'm a cat owner, cat lover. Sometimes it's for the best if they're in pain. hantavirus was found in one person in Washington State, Grant County. Alright. I am actually right in between an E and an I. So I can be an introvert. Sometimes I'm an introvert and sometimes I'm an extrovert. It all depends on how I'm feeling that day. Like I'm really literally like right in the middle. I'm not worried. I was just reading a little thing popped up on my screen, so I was reading it. Anyway. So yeah, sometimes like I don't mind being alone, but I also don't mind being in front of people and talking to people. And I can be outgoing or I can be like aloof. It's kind of funny. I think I'm an INTJ or an ENTJ. It always changes. But it's pretty cool. I like being that way because my profession really works out well because can be in front of kids and talk at them all day, and then like they leave, and it can go an extrovert that's hard for because it's like you're around people or students all day, and then they leave and it's just like nothing. Yeah, you like talking to people sometimes and you like to be alone sometimes. Yeah, it's I'm comfortable in my skin either way. SP? What is that? Like Dundee. You're an ATV supporter, to be honest. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. But J is what? Judgmental, and I forget what P is. Yeah, you think I'm a hands-on teacher. You remember teachers who didn't care about their students. I'm like, how can you not care? Yeah, oh, Sao Paulo, Brazil. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I did just yawn. I apologize. I am tired. I never sleep when I'm tired. I've just been getting 7 hours of sleep a night, and I really probably need 10 or 9 to feel good. Yeah, all that matters is that you're at peace with yourself. Scientists have created an embryo from stem cells without egg or sperm for the first time. Wow. That's pretty... Is it a clone?
Boy, that little handy vacuum is so handy when it comes to needles out there, you know.
Oh, that's good.
It's such an amazing little tool.
I know.
I'm glad I found it. I thought I lost it for a while, you know. The Dirt Devil?
Yeah.
That's the handiest little vacuum, man. Handy vacuum.
That's good.
Worked way better than the newer version.
That's good.
Yeah.
No, I know Ticken's joking around with me. I hear that taurine, though, can, like, mess with your heart. I think it's best to actually sleep when you're tired rather than try to stay awake. I don't think that's good. Yeah, I love you. Yeah, but I am at peace with myself. I feel like I do the best job that I can, for sure. Where can you... But I won't drink those Red Bulls with guarana in them and the taurine. No, that's not good for your body. No. If I needed to stay awake, maybe I'd consider it. And that has a lot of caffeine, too. It's not good for your body. I just need to... I just probably I need to get some vitamin D and iron and sleep. It's good to let the body rest when it's asking for sleep, rather than drinking coffee or any energy drinks. I agree with you. I just need to unplug. That's what I need to do tonight. Be care, I know you're the one. And I'm so strung out. Is that what? Bonnie and me, she's at the street. She is starting to shout, let me go wild. Like I blister in the sun, let me go wild. Big Hair, I know you're the one. Really, is it Big Hair, I know you're the one? I never knew what that was. Violent Femmes. My brother listened to that a lot. So, well, I listened to that a lot because my brother listened to that a lot. Actually, I liked Violent Femmes. That song in particular. Oh, yeah, Big Hands, I know you're the one. Yeah.
Scientists are joining forces to save chocolate from extinction.
Oh, thank God.
Well, that's a story you'd like to read, I'm sure,
Yeah, because I love chocolate. I do like chocolate.
CRISPR, oh gosh, CRISPR?
See, this is why I eat chocolate. It reduces stress level and inflammation. It improves mood, memory, and immunity.
Okay.
See, it's not just because I'm low in magnesium that I like chocolate.
These repeats are the hallmark of a bacterial defense system, and they can serve some very interesting functions. CRISPR stands for Clustered Regularly Interspaced Short Palindromic Repeats. Well, we should know more about our CRISPR, All right, let's get back to the chat room here.
Okay.
I'm going to get my coffee. I'll be right there.
Okay. I prefer dark chocolate, that's true. But then, so now I'm making my own chocolate, hot chocolate, with like Hershey's cocoa powder, like baking powder, and then honey and milk and water. That's true, Tiggin. Well, what about honey? When you add sugar to an anti-inflammatory food, it kind of defeats the purpose. I don't think I'm going to buy any more Swiss Miss. Sorry, Swiss Miss people, but I put some Swiss Miss in a cocoa cup, and it was not good. I didn't say baking powder. I said cocoa powder that they use in baking.
All right.
It's normally used in baking.
What is CRISPR?
I was telling him how I make my cocoa now. My hot cocoa now. I use like the Hershey's cocoa that is used in baking.
Right.
Or you can get the cocoa powder from Trader Joe's. It doesn't have to be Hershey's, but.
Do you get the milk?
And then I put in I do half milk, half water. And then cocoa, and then I heat that up, and then I put in cocoa powder and honey.
Honey, oh, that's good. Honey's much better than any of
it. And that's it.
His voice is breaking down. I think he's been probably doing some bigger drugs or something. He's starting to lose them. Jason. Pretty soon he'll be like an 80-year-old man. Is Jason calling?
Please, David.
It's been 72 years, David. Answer my phone. Yeah, and I'll be 120. And I'll be going, hey, man, you're just not taking the right vitamins. Yeah. Honey's good for you in moderation. Good point, Selfire. And thanks, Sarah, for being a great hostess. That was awesome. Yeah, rest. Get some sleep or something. Sometimes on Thursdays you have to go to sleep right away. You can go to bed at 8 if you want. Of course, it's 8:52. She's great. See what I can deal with?
Jason.
See? He doesn't take no for an answer. He's become obsessed because a lot of these young people with autism or ADHD are obsessed. They can't seem to do it. And I'm never going to answer your questions, Jason. You already had answers to your questions and you didn't respect them. You crapped all over our room. It's hurtful to do that. Just as hurtful as it was for Barbara Bush to put her fetus in a jar. And then George W. didn't know how to deal with that. Yeah, this is Call from Jason's modern version.
Yeah, man, it's cool. Come on in, man.
It's cool, man. Yeah, we've got some great ideas to generate revenue for people.
We've been a quick video or something. I was going to talk to you for.
Sure. We're going to take a look here at what I did in 2008, right when I first started this effort. I walked on the beach with Sarah and we talked about what we wanted to do for the country. And here it is. This is in 2009, I believe. 100 days into Barack Obama's administration.
Hi, I'm David John Sponheim. It's been about 100 days since Barack Obama took office as President of the United States. And in that time period, he spent close to $3.2 trillion. Money we don't have. Money we won't even have in the next 10 years. And I'm beginning to think that he's not the guy for the job. And if you agree with me, and like many Democrats, I left the Democratic Party because Barack Obama didn't really come across as an honest person to me. So I suggest you vote for me in 2012 as an America's third party candidate and begin changing this government from the top down. Bring honesty back to America. Bring honesty back to politics. And that's what I think we can do. So join us and visit us every day at Blog TV, blogtv.com/people/America's Third Party. We're on every day trying to talk to you and trying to find out how you feel about this country. We're walking along the beach here in Washington, and it's so beautiful. And like I said, this is the environment we want to protect all around the country.
Yeah, and we are not able to protect our own area. I was walking right next to the water. I was not walking on the water. Mr. Anderson. She looks great. Everybody looks great. Yeah, we're happy. But our environment is under attack. We don't ever want competition here. You know that. Thank you. The fact of the matter is, we're losing the battle against the military-industrial complex. We're unfortunately now dealing with a situation where they continue to build more weapons, unbelievable weapons. They're testing the oil tankers, the fuel tankers, the P8 fuel tankers here in our island area, and I got to tell you, I've never seen a bigger plane in my life. It's just huge. No, actually,
Boeing's case.
This is the X-46. Yeah. The fact of the matter is, these things are massive and they pollute the environment. And this is one of the nicest areas in the world, and they're just crapping all over it. So, Jared, what do you say? Jared's going to speak up on this issue.
Defense, for example, still uses 8-inch floppy disks.
No wonder nobody focused on what he was saying.
For example, still uses... The Department of Defense, for example, still uses 8-inch floppy disks.
He made a very good point. That's the only thing he said in the past year and a half. The Department of Defense still uses 8-inch floppy disks, but it really talks about how outdated our system is and how we're just doing the wrong things. Planes don't need to fly over a populated area of 50,000 people on a regular basis. We can have them for defense, but I would much rather build a robotics university right here on the island, and one on the East Coast too. Yeah, a robotics university where young people can go and get a free education, and they can be earning a decent living working for the government, building robotic systems direct from our own laboratories, not contracted out to private companies. Upgrading the entire military so that we're focused more on an agile, even a disposable air defense shield comprised of drone missile defenses. I'm just thinking futuristically, of course, but the future war won't even be fought with humans, unfortunately, and we're going to have to gear up for that reality because other countries are rapidly doing that. And China is now making moves on AI and its development. So I'm not going to ban anybody using the word inch tonight, no. The Navy chow for the enlisted E6 crew sucked. The chief had their own mess and bought their own food. The officers ate high on the hog in the wardroom. Wow, that's pretty trippy, Mad Dog. Yeah, so you were there eating the gruel, and the officers were eating the best. That happened in my dad's time in the military too. He said that the officers they had to actually grab their goodies just to get a decent bite to eat, and they were the ones in the trenches fighting the war. Yeah, 3 years of shore duty, 4 years ship duty since the 90s. James Packer, packing it in. Scientists create embryo from stem cells without egg or sperm for the first time. This is a remarkable achievement for human cloning. Let me bring you to the story immediately. Beep. Please ignore the set tone during my conversation. Beep. I am merely calibrating my dialogue to sound more human-like. Beep. Maastricht University Berlin Institute and scientists have successfully grown a very early stage embryo in the laboratory without eggs and sperm. Interesting. Yeah, the cloning is working. Hitler's idea is finally coming to fruition. Can you believe that nobody even cares about the ethics of this? I mean, I'm just shocked that we're just boring ahead with cloning. I can see how if we can replace our organs and have replacements, could I please get a new liver? Could I please get a new lung? Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Okay, well, I've been doing a lot of celery cutting, not stem cell research. I've been chopping celery earlier. Self-organizing life. Oh, nice. The future placenta and the future embryo. Everything will be so beautiful in the world of make-believe. Boy, these people really think they're God, don't they?
After years of research, the laboratory of Nicolas Rivon has found out how to induce stem cells to organize themselves and develop into an early embryo-like structure in a dish, all in the lab. This scientific breakthrough has truly opened up the black box of early pregnancy.
Surprisingly, we know very little about the first...
Now let me get this straight. We still can't gestate an embryo, even a human embryo, outside of a woman's womb. But we're already making embryos on our own. This is so funny. God knows what kind of creatures they're going to create. I think we've had a few of those people call us up in our show and lie to us. I know one guy that grew up right near Plum Island, and I swear he looks like a genetic morph of like a reptile and a human. I think you know who I'm talking about. CRISPR to the rescue. That's scary. Scary. Well, we are gods if we're made in his image. Boy, that's a really egomaniacal thought. well, if we're made in God's image, then we are gods. That's just terribly egomaniacal. How do you know God's not fallible like we are? Bananas may become extinct in 5 to 10 years due to fungal diseases. I've heard this for the past 40 years. I swear, 35 years ago, I was warning people about the dangers of bananas and various viruses that affect their 5 species. But bananas may become extinct in 5 to 10 years due to fungal diseases. Wow. And it's the dreaded herpes simplex virus, the mosaic virus that attacks the banana. The banana, one of the world's top 5 staple foods, may become extinct in just 5 to 10 years due to a fast advancing fungal disease. They have a lethal threat to the world banana. You see, you take the lime and the coconut and rub it all over the banana. I'm not testing anyone's faith, especially not yours. You don't have one. Oh, do you? I'm sorry. Please, pardon me. I didn't realize you were an atheist. All right, so I guess we're done with that one. Yeah, I don't know. They keep producing bananas like crazy. This fungal disease, they got fungicides that can deal with that, right? We'll deal with do the due process later and figure out what fungus among us will deal with fungal diseases and fungicides. Whatever. I'm not that worried about bananas, but thank you so much for caring. I think I should put this in the threat category. I'm going to log this JPEG into my deep archive online in the cloud. I've got all kinds of things I keep in clouds. Yeah, it's Meow TV mentioned this technique that was Myriad chemtrail attack. Yeah, very scary. Magnetic particles taking out your entire flight ability. I'll keep that in my records, thanks. And China installs that secret base. Yeah, whatever. Sassy Trump, love that. We'll play it later. If you haven't seen a little bit of Sassy Trump, let's take a look. The Sassy Trump piece.
Thank you. I like him a lot. Let me give you my face. How's my face? And it's an honor to call you my friend. Thank you. I love you. Do you love me? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
You've got to wonder, did he go back and give him a back rub and, kind of help him along to that happy place? Did he give him a happy ending toward the end of the day, Macron? Well, let's face it, he fell in love with his teacher, who was much older. He must have a thing for older people. Donald, what is he, 72 now, or 71? Something like that. And this YouTube video about self-organizing life and embryonic tissues. I think we'll watch that tonight. The Maastricht University study will be very good. Yeah. Yeah, we are very smart here. We are working on all kinds of ways of alternating the genetic genome so humans can function more efficiently. Hitler started this whole thing, and I'm really thinking that we're being run by Nazis now.
First days of pregnancy. At that time, the embryo is extremely small. It's about the width of a hair, and it's hidden in the womb. It is floating inside the uterus.
Okay, I'm getting a little bit too excited talking about the embryo floating in the uterus. Yeah, we'll have to watch that later. Yeah, Dioria. People fall off and never get found. Really? It's dangerous. You're talking about being on the flight deck of an aircraft carrier, James? Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, it's some brutal duty out there, buddy. I mean, we got people in our area from Top Guns that are handling all kinds of major disasters like that. Yeah, it's scary. To be on a flight deck with a jet noise. How do you guys do it? You are amazing. You must have lost about 20% of your hearing just standing on the flight deck. They never get found once they fall in the ocean. The carrier goes around 30 miles per hour. Or knots per hour. Mad Dog has tinnitus ringing in the ears from his experience in the U.S. Navy. And a fractured liver? Really? Wow. I probably have one too, just living in the Naval Air Station area. The jets fly at 120 decibel sound over my head. You should get fractured liver disability. I was checking out some new headphones today at Best Buy. Best Buy came through. They gave me a warranty on an item I returned. Extended it 1 month. It was a Christmas item. Yeah, one month and a few days. But Best Buy has got some pretty good deals. I was looking at the Logitech 540H, and I was wondering, is this worth getting for the show? And I didn't buy it because I felt like it was going to be too much with the ear muffs and everything. This is for the best deal at $34.99. It's a hardwired. It's not wireless, because remember, wireless emits RF frequencies like Bluetooth. It's hardwired, but it's a microphone and a headset for listening to, gaming. It's plug and play for USB, and noise canceling microphone reduce the unwanted background noise for clear conversations. I just don't know if I'll use it. But I was looking at this particular item, the Logitech H540 on-ear USB headset. It's got 4 ratings. You ever go in here, you can read people's issue with the cord and volume mute button. Oh, okay. Definitely not great. Good, but could be better. Awesome. Great headphones for video editor. Great sound and quality. Perfect. Good headphones for basic use. But up here, it's definitely not great. A couple of weeks after I got this headset, the mute stopped working. A week later, the volume buttons went out on more than 2 weeks to sound in one ear. Okay. It's good to read the reviews. Too many low stars, I'm not going to buy it. I took back that thing I got at Walmart, $14. I used it on the road. It was horrible. They did give me my refund. Man, you're amazing, Mad Dog. And you probably have some of that uranium depletion radiation brush off too. You may want to get checked out with a Geiger counter. I knew a guy that practically glowed handling munitions here in the Navy that had uranium spent. Apparently, that's top secret information. I don't even know if it's true or not. Yeah, I think they put a lot of cake uranium in some of the weapons. That's a bad thing. Yeah, not a good thing. But I don't think the military's ever admitted that. There's a controversial theory that the nuclear weapons are not exactly what we think they are. But I don't really want to go into it. Some people think they're just like dirty bombs. And that's why the government seems to be willing to engage in conventional warfare so easily with other countries. It does seem kind of odd that we would have low-intensity conflict with other countries in a nuclear age. I mean, this is a post-nuclear age, really. It's like we've been dealing with this for 60, 70 years. You would think that we would not engage in war, but they continue to push the button on nuclear power and dangerous nuclear weapons. But severe Midwest thunderstorms allowed to develop with the Southwest parched dry to the bone, home. This is one Pacific
today
Redwood.
is May the 2nd, 2018, and right now at 11 p.m., we have a temperature of 53 degrees in the foothills of Los Angeles. The relative humidity is 79%. The dew point is 47 degrees, and we have the barometers on the rise.
Look at how they managed to completely make an evaporation zone in the Midwest and in Southern California. It just never ceases to amaze me. And this one stretches the whole length of California. But there should be water here, but they always keep this area open, and this guy does a great job of tracking all kinds of ways that they manipulate these hurricanes or spins of weather They're just actual weather patterns, but they send phased array radar in various directions, and they're able to actually control them because they've injected heavy metals into the atmosphere. And this is called geoengineering, and it's part of what I believe is the weather warfare conducted on our coastline. And the elitists are trying to do to our coastline what they did to Africa and South America. They're trying to lower its property value so they can buy it up cheap. And the recent attack on the California coastline included 43 people dead in fires that were beyond belief. The fires that hit the California coastline last year were beyond belief, actually. We believe that they could have been using directed energy weapons, which is a high technology capability, which our government's really, got experimental operations going on. But if they did that against their own people, you can imagine the ramifications of this. It looked like these houses burned to a crisp with very little room for arson when you think about it. It's like this was a photograph of one of the beams that came down and hit the earth during the California fires this last year. And here's another picture of that same beam from a different direction. So you're looking at two different pictures of the same beam that literally started fires that burnt houses to a crisp. We're talking crispy critter houses. Yeah. They've got all kinds of death meters and fires as well. That could have been started by a death meter. Those, the smart meters that have been installed in your house. Don't worry about it. Well, actually, do worry about it. Don't live near a smart meter if you can. Don't have your bedroom next to it. Yeah. Just an example. Look at the most interesting thing is that, like fires like this, they say everything, including the refrigerators and the washers and dryers, melted to the ground. But the garbage cans didn't. They weren't even affected. Now, why wouldn't they be affected with that level of heat? And the answer is most plastics don't burn in a microwave oven, so there you go. If they did use a directed energy weapon, which is a type of microwave, they could have easily zapped those houses and just taken those properties down. They were $1.5 million homes that are now worth about $15,000 in land value. So say somebody wanted to take all those homes, they would just wipe out the entire area with a directed energy weapon. Yeah. It could be from a plane or a satellite, McDundee. Hard to tell. I don't think wanting to burn somebody in a microwave oven is a nice thing to say, considering you're both chatters here and you have no reason to hate this person. Just because you may have had a verbal argument with them sometime doesn't mean you should hate them the rest of your life. Yeah, Bradley Chelsea Manning was sentenced to 60 years and Obama pardoned him. Well, it wouldn't be the first time. I mean, a lot of people are getting off short terms. Look at Dr. Murray. He was charged with killing Michael Jackson. They had a 6-year sentence that got downgraded to a 4-year on sentencing. And then he got 2 years, he was out. 2 years of cush jail cell in Hollywood. I don't know if America paid for a sex change. I would not pay for sex change in the military. I would never do that. But if the military did pay for his sex change, that would be foolish. No, not really. Considering this is just one of the many beams that were used to zap the entire California region. That was just one particular beam. And there's probably multiple pictures if I really looked online. Well, how can you explain how all these houses burned, yet none of the brushes in between them burned? None of the trees between them burned. How did this happen in a linear fashion? This is very suspicious. It's the most selective forest fire in history. And recently in Oklahoma, something similar happened. People said it was weird. People saw blue lights flashing above this fire, like they were using electromagnetic waves or microwaves. Ergo the blue in the background. Yeah. Of course they're wasting resources. They want to kill us. They don't care. Jeez. No, the bike's finished. He just has to deliver it. He doesn't have to. He can just not even deliver it. No one's forcing anybody to do anything. This is not the Anixibium cult, where you're forced to lay down and receive the branding iron. That is the weirdest cult I have ever heard. Nvidium. Nvidium cult. Nixibium. Thank you. Nixibium. Great for videos and pictures. I mean, just looking at the cult members, and it just gives you that weird, wow, aren't you glad you're not rich kind of feeling? Glad I wasn't at that experience, having to be forced to have sex with a man and then be branded. These poor women. And this woman allegedly was the mastermind. No, David Nation's actually doing better. He actually is getting better. He had his part of his intestines removed, and he's doing better. That's what he told us last time he came in here. But this woman, the Smallville actress, star, Kristen Kriuk, allegedly was the ringleader in this strange event. I'll bring you a video of that tonight from Tyrell Stefan. Yeah. I'll show his video. I have not seen it yet. But all y'all want to know more about the women who were abused in the situation. On the Air Force Base, there weren't many hot college-age women. Well, did you find some in the cooler and that were a little cooler than most? You know, I think every college-age woman is hot. I think you're a little too picky there, James. I did date a woman that was really pretty at one point in college. And then she was waiting for a man of her same background and race. And she was Hispanic. She was waiting for a Hispanic man in her life. And it really kind of drove a wedge between us, because she would not commit to a relationship with a man who was not Hispanic. Anyway, I'll never forget the most shocking thing I've ever seen in my life. 2 months after I kind of broke up with her, I went to her dorm room to just, somebody had told me that they wanted to deliver a message to her. So I went to her dorm room, knocked on the door. She opened the door, and she was 100 pounds heavier than she was when I knew her. And she wasn't pregnant. It was so sad. It was just like she'd completely decided to use food to bind her anxiety. And she literally gained 100 pounds in 2 months. I don't know if you've ever seen anything like that. It is. It's incredibly sad. I don't know what happened to her afterward in her life, and college is full of stress, yeah. I'm not a hater. I'm a lover. But I can tell you, I had a very opposite experience with a young woman when I was 17, working at a department store. I had a couple jobs when I was really young. I was working at a department store, and I trained with this woman in this department store, and she had a certain area of the store, and we see each other every day after work and just talk, you know. And as I got to know her longer, she got thinner and thinner. It was weird. It was like she really lost a lot of weight. And then the weirdest thing is she kept telling me that she was fat. And this is anorexia nervosa. This is the most strange disease ever. And she just said, yeah, I know, I'm really kind of embarrassed about my weight gain. And I'm going, you're looking great. I didn't want to say, you look emaciated, you're really losing too much weight. But you're looking fine, I wouldn't worry about it. And all she would talk about was the shame of having too much weight on her. And she was skin and bones. It was so strange. I don't know if you've ever met anybody with that affliction, but yeah. It's too bad they couldn't combine the two people and somehow form a in between anorexia and food addiction is the norm. Well, I didn't really say she was looking great. At the time, I thought it was just like, well, you're looking great. You don't have a weight problem. But I don't know. It was just, if you haven't seen it firsthand, I just will never forget that strange moment. Strange moments you'll never forget in life. Like when Rudy Giuliani just announced that Donald Trump paid directly Michael Cohen $130,000. I'm glad it's finally out. You're glad it's finally out. You know, the fact is, Donald Trump lied about that. He's been recorded live, lying. So, it just complicated the problem. I will give him this, though. Rudy Giuliani and Donald Trump cooked up a sidetrack to talk about, while we're talking about all the connections to the Russian oligarchs. He didn't. Giuliani, according to Trump now, he says he approved of it, and they wanted to, just explain that it would be very above board about the whole thing. I think that Trump's biggest concern was that this is weird, but he was concerned that they thought he was using campaign funds to finance the payoff, the hush money. I think he was so fixated on that minute detail that he forgot that he was actually literally exposing the fact that he lied about this all along. He just doesn't have, you've got to have a really good memory to be a good liar, and Donald Trump doesn't have a good memory. And he certainly doesn't have a high IQ. So I think it's kind of sad, but we're dealing with a person who it's like a special president we have. Yeah. It's like you don't want to say, well, this is the Special Olympics, but we do have kind of a special president. And I don't want to, he seems like a nice person deep down, but just very greedy. I don't know. He comes off as a person who's just really greedy. And that's a very big national security risk for our nation to have a greedy president. It was from the get-go. I've been saying this all along. We're being manipulated. And anybody that greedy is going to be trying to work deals with all kinds of people. I seriously believe that Betsy DeVos bribed him. Yeah, really, that's pretty funny. I think Betsy DeVos bribed him with $9.5 million, and I can't even understand why Mueller is not asking Betsy DeVos to come in for questioning, because you can't bribe a president for a job as the Secretary of Education. You can't. It's illegal. Yet she did it. Now, if Rod Blagojevich wasn't spending 14 years in jail for a phone call he had that was recorded against his will, he didn't know it was being recorded, but it was still admissible, and he had said offhandedly he wanted to sell Barack Obama's U.S. Senate seat, that cost him 14 years in jail. I mean, we're not going to see Rod Blagojevich for a long time. Yet Trump can just skate with a $9.5 million payoff for a cabinet position? I mean, God knows what else he got from other cabinet positions, because everybody he has in there is a billionaire, or 5 or 6 of these people are billionaires. That's very bizarre that billionaires would want to be working in the White House. Why would they? If you had $1,000 million, would you want to work? My 10% flat tax may be greedy for business. I want people to invest in America. I want it to be good for people who don't have a lot of money either. 10% flat tax on income over $50,000 is the plan. Flat tax with no loopholes is the plan. No tax credits. Nowhere the lobbyists can work on the side going, hello, Mr. Rothschild. I would love to help you with your corporate investments. What can we do for you in government? You know, this type of thing. This is where lobbyists, this is their bread and butter, are tax credits and deductions. If we stripped lobbyists of their bread and butter, they won't have a lot other than cush vacations to the Philippines or to spend a luxurious heroin night with Duterte. Yeah, lovely, wonderful. Deno's he's in LA now, can't find a decent job. Most of the jobs are pretty much scaled down to, California as a whole sucks. Yeah. You're going to find so much competition for work in California and LA. It's really a dog-eat-dog world out there. That's the problem. So we'll add the Smallville story to our show tonight, because I do want to know more about the sex cult. Who doesn't? And we did show you the video of the Paddock camera footage of an officer walking into Paddock's room. IntelliHub reported it. There was no broken window. So everything about the Mandalay Bay attack seems completely made up and covered up. Even their most recent footage shows no broken window, which directly contradicts the evidence that somebody was firing from that window, or at least broke the window, and you heard shots fired. I'll say that.
To porn star Stormy Daniels. Last month, the president flatly denied knowing anything about the hush money.
Did you know about the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels? Then why did Michael Cohen make it if there was no truth or allegation?
Well, you have to ask Michael Cohen. Michael's my attorney, and you'll have to ask Michael.
Do you know where he got the money to make that payment?
No, I don't know.
Cohen claimed he paid Daniels out of his own pocket. What we didn't know until now, President Trump paid him back out of a personal account. The president's new lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, broke that news on Fox, seeming to surprise even Sean Hannity, as he argued the payment didn't violate campaign finance law.
That money was not campaign money. Sorry, I'm giving you a fact now that you don't know. It's not campaign money. No campaign finance violation. So they funneled it through the law firm. Funneled through the law firm, and the president repaid it.
Oh, I didn't know he did. Yep. Stormy Daniels signed the hush agreement just 11 days before the election. But Giuliani insisted the payment had nothing to do with the campaign.
But it wasn't for the campaign. Right. It was to save their not their marriage as much as their reputation.
He's talking through. He doesn't even know what he's saying. He's just spilling the beans all over the place. Donald, when nobody would take your job, the job of being your attorney, and you went to your old friend Rudy Giuliani, what were you thinking? Of course he was trying to save his reputation, because it was into the 11 days toward the campaign's peak at that point. I mean, I remember Trump calling Ted Cruz's wife a whore, or to that effect, basically a prostitute. Okay, we've got a link possibly connecting the underground bunkers. Okay. I just think Giuliani's got loose lip syndrome, and I'm kind of ashamed that Trump chose him to even represent him. But again, I don't really care, you know. You spilled your beans, but then you talked about it. Even if not campaign funds directly, he did solicit prostitution while married, yes. All these ethical issues that are really turning a lot of heads in the conservative movement might have enough momentum to push for impeachment. I'm hoping. I mean, I'm living in a relationship that is not, we're not married, but it's not that I would ever cheat. That's the thing. I don't want to ever cheat or ruin the trust that Sarah and I have. And that's something that Trump didn't seem to care about when he went ahead and cheated on his wife. That's a serious thing. It shows you his character or lack thereof. So we'll play more of that video. When did the president actually know? Yeah. Okay, and this is a technology that's brand new. Facebook is working on a new plan to continually put questionnaires out. It's crazy. No, the government won't trim Mark Zuckerberg's wings and literally lets him do whatever he wants. Now Facebook accidentally set a hate speech button live on its platform for a short period of time. So if you hear hate speech, you can hit the button. It automatically sends a complaint in. The button asks users, does this contain hate speech? I mean, talk about violating our First Amendment rights. It's unbelievable. The spokesperson said the company was conducting an internal test in an attempt to understand different types of speech, including speech we thought we would not be hate. Yeah, sure. They said a bug caused the button to launch publicly, but it has since been disabled. Boy, aren't you glad these people make $350,000 a year to create programs that are completely hackable and now want to impose hate speech buttons for people? Oh, this is unreal. I don't think Zuckerberg learned a thing when he met with the senators who didn't know a thing. Okay, Trump, as you know, is a Zionist, 100% Zionist. He supports the New World Order and the heightened greater state of Israel, now putting a new base of operations in Jerusalem, moving our entire base at $1 billion for no reason. So he can support his alma mater, the Israeli government. Well, yeah, I support the idea of a state of Israel, and I certainly support their further longevity as a state of Israel, a nation. But he wants to make May Jewish History Month. Isn't that special? Well, I guess it's his right to do anything he wants right now. And this we reported on last night, really disturbing story. Health CEO and biohacker has been found dead in Washington, D.C., face down in a flotation tank. Yeah, another one bites the dust. Yeah, this guy was very famous, and like the last woman had died in a swimming pool in D.C., this guy was floating in his flotation tank. The biohacker and CEO of Ascendant Biomedical, Aaron Trawick, was found dead on Sunday. He was found in his spa, face down. Wow. People are just reeling at all the people that are dying in mysterious deaths, and the government doesn't want to investigate any of them. None. It's like the FBI just blows it all off. I don't know. I mean, if you were dead in the flotation tank, wouldn't you want the FBI to look you up and say, what happened to you? Yeah, and they both died. They're both 28 years old. Just like Avicii. Good point. And they think Avicii may have been killed, but everything points to he supposedly had a suicide note, but his parents won't show his suicide note. Now it became obvious that Avicii died from blood loss due to a sharp glass that he cut himself with. Anybody could be cut with a glass, like the jugular could cut his neck and he could bleed out really quick. That you can't prove that wasn't homicide. You should move out of your mom's home. Yep. Yeah, this guy, we have a meth head who steals 20s out of his mom's purse. You should move to California. They have group homes for people like you that actually, all they do is get high all day on meth, and the state pays for them. You should look into that. You could have a whole group of meth head friends, and you could all pull your teeth out together. Yeah, I would want to hang out in Oman with a sharp object. High Impact Flicks channel has been terminated. Really?
Channel has been terminated. Most of you know that my main YouTube channel has been terminated. Honestly, I get up every single morning, just like I tweeted out today, I get up every single morning wondering if I'm even going to have a channel, because it all looks so iffy. I can't even believe that I was up for this long. I appreciate all of you guys and all of your support. I'm not giving up. If you could do me a favor and tweet at Team YouTube, and just as politely as possible, just let them know that you want the High Impact Flicks channel back. Feel free to give them your reasons or whatever, but if you could just keep it short and polite, I'd really appreciate it. This censorship garbage is getting out of hand, and the reason I fight so hard and have fought so hard to get other channels back and have succeeded is because if an injustice happens to one of us, it happens to all of us. Censorship doesn't just harm the person being censored, it harms the people who want to watch that material. You guys, what infuriates me about this whole thing is that 516,000 people have subscribed to my channel. So they've pushed that button saying, hey, I want to see more content. And basically YouTube is saying, I don't care what you want, you're not going to have it. And that's what makes me upset about not just the termination of my channel, but them dinking around and messing with other channels. It's just something that we should not tolerate. Having a YouTube channel is no different from building a business. You invest all your time, resources, money, energy. You sacrifice time with your family to put out content or build this business, and then somebody comes in the door or just locks the door and you can't even get into your business that you built. They didn't help me build it. I used their platform, but that was the agreement in the first place. So I'm going to try not to be long-winded about this. I can't even tell you how much I appreciate all you guys' support, your emails, the letters that you send me in my P.O. box, the kind words, the words of criticism, the comments that you leave underneath the videos. I can't even, I'm overwhelmed with gratefulness. So if you could just tweet at Team YouTube, and let's see if we can get this channel back. This is just as much your channel as it is my channel. That's how I view this whole thing. So I appreciate it, guys. I will see you in the next video, and until the other channel comes up, if it ever does come up, I will be posting here on this backup channel as long as I have it, and I'm going to try to look for alternatives because obviously the time is, time's running out. So thank you very much. I appreciate every single one of you.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and tweet this right now. We want the High Impact Flicks channel back. Please tweet. Okay, I just tweeted it at Team YouTube. Thank you. Like he said. So you guys do the same. All right. Yeah, that's really sad. 500,000 subscribers and he lost his site. Can you believe that? That's just crazy, man. That's a lot of money, too, if he was making money on YouTube. There's a lot of money going down. He won't be able to survive otherwise. You should have bought the $300 jacuzzi you were aiming for, David. Why? It went up in price? No, it didn't. It's still available. Yeah, they have a blow-up jacuzzi for $350. Tsunami Rose got it. She's back. She had her her special day last week. I hope that worked out real well, Tsunami. It's great. Yeah, 153news.net is the new source for a lot of videos because people are getting just hosed on YouTube. So you can get a free account there, and I have not done it yet, but I might just go ahead and set up an account and start uploading all our backup copies of our videos, which would take me about six days to upload nonstop on a high-speed server. Yeah. 153news.net is the alternative now to YouTube for a lot of people. Cool. Yeah, definitely. I'm considering all options in the future. Yes, well, they haven't manipulated 153 News yet. So far that guy's holding himself pretty independent. Scissor Fights talked to him or emailed him, and he seems like legit. He's not going to sell out. But even if he did sell out, it would just go to someone else. We have a very manipulatable and morphable internet. So that means that they can adjust it and attack it, but it can respond by morphing into something else. Well, I told you, your meth addiction is something that you're going to have to deal with by getting into a recreational marijuana state. I would recommend California. Get into one of those group homes, claim you're completely addicted to meth, and go to a social worker, and they'll give you money to live in a home where you can actually do meth with your people in your house. That's what I heard people do. I'm not trying to enable you, but your best bet is to move to a recreational marijuana state so that you could segue to like a sativa, which gives you kind of an upper feeling as opposed to meth, because your addiction to meth is completely warping your brain and altering your brain cells, whereas cannabis is very benign and will not affect your brain in a negative way, whereas meth will carve out your brain, start growing tumors in your head Not to mention your skin will erupt and all kinds of zits. Your teeth will fall out. I mean, shall I go on? Do you have any self-respect at all? I don't know about medical meth. I don't even know if it exists. I know that they have all kinds of drugs they give kids, like Ritalin, Adderall, that are similar to methamphetamines. Did you get addicted to meth by being on Adderall as a kid? Well, if you're doing meth 3 times a day and your IQ was 149, calculate the IQ and multiply by a factor of 0.032%, and then add it to your next day's IQ, or subtract it from your next day's IQ. You will definitely have an IQ of about 102 in about 2 years at that rate. Did you get the link on Iran saying no renegotiating nuclear deal and threatens Trump?
Hello, my name is Javad Zarif, and I'm the Iranian Foreign Minister. For the first 2 years in my post, I spent much of my time negotiating with my counterparts from the European Union, Russia, China, Germany, France, United Kingdom, and the United States. We reached a comprehensive agreement on Iran's nuclear program in 2015. We called it JCPOA, or Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. In the deal, my country agreed to take certain concrete steps to assuage the concerns of the United States primarily. The US in turn committed to remove sanctions and to cease impeding business with Iran. The deal was not a treaty to require signature or ratification by any side, but it became binding on all as it was unanimously adopted by the United Nations Security Council. On 11 occasions since, the UN nuclear watchdog has confirmed that Iran has implemented all its obligations. In contrast, the US has consistently violated the agreement, especially by bullying others from doing business with Iran.
Well, I was under the impression that we are still honoring the end of the economic sanctions, so that contradicts his testimony here. I'm under the impression that Trump is not having any more economic sanctions imposed. So I get their point, though. We're causing nothing but problems with Saudi Arabia for Iran. I get that. I'm going to add this to our list, and I'm also going to put it in the war file in case it leads to a war. Thank you. Yes, video volume was very low. I played it low so you didn't have to listen to it. Yeah, I'm not listening to terrorists talk about their position, openly, publicly. I don't think that's important to give terrorists any airtime. Well, I'm not forgetting the hostage situation. I don't know how many people in Barack Obama's administration bothered to care, but he put a deal together that should never have been crafted. I'm with Trump on this. I would not honor the agreement either. And I want to reiterate that Iran has not openly allowed the IAEA to come in and look at their nuclear weapon. They violated the treaty most recently, and they're the reason why we stopped and Trump did not put his signature on it. So it's on them, really. If they allowed the IAEA to go in there and look at the nuclear weapon and analyze its development, we wouldn't have had a problem. But they didn't, and they reneged on it, and that alone set this wheel in motion. After watching this video, you will never buy another Kanye West apparel again. Wow, this is serious. Dang. Dang. Well, I'll play that toward the end there, I guess. 8 minutes, looks like a good video. Thank you, Scissor Fight. Well, this Syria attack, if it's been planned by Bolton and Rumsfeld back in the day, and this was something that Zbigniew Brzezinski had presented, the idea that we should run a pipeline into Syria. It's a failed policy. It never should have been put on the table. It puts us at odds with Russia. We should have backed out of the Syrian involvement years ago, and that's why I was the one saying we shouldn't fund rebel troops, and I want to thank Donald for not funding rebel troops. So Donald, if you really want to make a change in your administration and you're watching our show, fire Pence and hire me. And I assure you, we can work together to make things smoother for you during this tough time. Pence is of no value because he's simply a yes man for the people that hired you. He won't show any of his emails when he acquired them privately. He, just like Hillary, he has loads of emails he can't show, which means that he's a liability. And he's certainly not a good backup as Vice President of the United States. He doesn't have what it takes to galvanize his country and bring it together. He comes off as flat and overly conservative. And the American people are not flat or overly conservative. But we do stand for certain things like our rights to bear arms, our rights to a speedy trial and to freedom and to freedom of the press and to our privacy. And right now, all of that is under attack. I was glad that Donald Trump approved of the Keystone Pipeline. I approved of the Keystone Pipeline. I was glad that he didn't sign the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement because it was riddled with problems and it created more of a divisive stance against China. That was my reasoning for not signing the Trans-Pacific Partnership, and it gave a small group of people overwhelming power to pass trade agreements that would veritably hurt the environment. I was also in favor of not signing or not going along with the Paris Treaty for climate change. I was against that too, and Trump didn't sign that on. We cannot allow a system like cap and trade to take place simply because it too can be manipulated by big money. We need strictly innovation to fix this environmental crisis we're in. And it may have to come from the coffers of our governments to do it. But we have to do it without corporate greed installed in the scenario. Otherwise, it's just going to be too little too late. By best estimates, carbon will be removed from the atmosphere at a rate of 17% by 2032, if we were to engage in carbon point legislation. There's no proof that that's even true, but that's their estimates. It's just not enough. We need to be much more aggressive about how we filter our smokestacks and how we limit what's going on in the air. But right now, our government is sitting back and letting somebody spray massive amounts of chemicals in the atmosphere, and it's going on daily. It's ridiculous. So, I mean, we've got to get ahead of this right here before we can figure out what we're doing with climate change. Because this is no doubt leading to climate change. Well, the agreement, it's all in the spirit of carbon point legislation, which is not going to solve the problem while we're being dumped on with chemtrails right now. There's no point in eliminating smokestack emissions when we're being hosed like a bunch of insects on a day-to-day basis. Madison Star Moon got her day in court every day. It's like she walks up to these city sprayers that spray malathion in their streets to get mosquito abatement. And she's in their face. Look at this.
Hey guys, this is Madison Star Moon on scene in Virginia Beach. The mosquito sprayer man just came down the street and poisoned my street with toxic whatever he's spraying. I'm about to bust him right now. I'm actually standing out here, probably breathing in permethrin, and here he comes.
Look at
I'm going to
this.
stop this truck because this is my right as a citizen of the United States to protect myself from the poisons that this man is spraying right now. I'm stopping him right now as a citizen to find out what he's spraying. Let me get his license plate number. Okay. How are you doing tonight, sir? All right, let me get your information, please. What are you spraying in the air right now? Look at this. Look what you are doing. What are you spraying? What are you spraying? What is the chemical that you're spraying? Can I see your material safety data sheet? Can you turn that off while we're talking? I know for a fact you had to turn that off when I said thank you, sir. I'm standing right out here. This is my house right here, and I need to see your material safety data sheet because it's the law. It's a state law, and I know that for a fact, sir. I'm an
Yeah, God love her. She's really in there swinging, man. And these people who are doing this job, they're oblivious to what they're doing. I mean, I see people all the time working in pesticide companies. They don't even know that they could die if they get too close to these chemicals. Yeah. She's got some balls, I'll tell you. For a woman, she really has a strong personality. I think that's great. Yeah. You go, girl. Yeah, well, the guy just has a job. He doesn't care. And that's so true about everybody now. So many people just take a job. They don't even care what they're doing. I remember when I first met Sarah, she was taking whatever work she could find, and one of those jobs that she had training in was working in a factory. And she actually interviewed for a job in a factory in California, and I went with her. And it was totally toxic. And I could tell that this was not a good job for anybody. And she decided not to take the job because it was too toxic. You know, working around plastics or, you know, working with factories usually is toxic. But lo and behold, the woman who was sitting in the chair next to her was a pregnant Mexican woman, probably illegal, who probably took the job as soon as she turned it down. So, I mean, everybody needs work in LA. And they're willing to put a pregnant woman in a toxic environment. There's no laws preventing it. There are no laws preventing indoor air pollution. There's no indoor air pollution laws on the book. Nothing in the Environmental Protection Acts protect you from indoor air pollution. You can walk into a Home Depot and walk right next to fiberglass, and it could be blowing in your face, and they would consider that a nuisance fiber. It is in no way illegal to have open fiberglass in any Home Depot or Lowe's. You have a pregnant Mexican woman who takes your gigs when you're not feeling it? And you're a male escort, huh? And that's, you seriously believe, we're supposed to believe you're actually a male escort? No kidding, really? You know, people come in here talking about themselves all the time, and it's so easy to lie. Why would you take that as your position? Because it's obviously a lie. If you were a male escort, you wouldn't come in here and brag about it. We're done with you, sir. What a jerk. God. How did he get in here? Make room for one new person. Mark only lets 150 people into this room at night. Kind of sad. Now that's just sad, see? Hey, here's a really nice technology, and sometimes we feature tiny house technologies in our show. But this came to my attention yesterday. Misanthropy, I believe, showed this to us. This tiny home, 8 by 20, it's 160 square foot, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, is only $16,000. That's a pretty nice little deal. Look at the interior on that. That's $133 a month. Look at that. Little kitchenette in the front room. Isn't that cute? Little place to sit in the breakfast nook. Yeah. And it even comes with a bathroom, with a shower, and a toilet, and a little bedroom. And look at how high-tech it is. So greenterrahomes.com has this. If you guys want to check out this little tiny home, the technology is getting cheaper and more efficient, and these things are lighter, made of aluminum mainframe. It's pretty cool. I got to tell you, that's one of the best links out there. Thank you. Are you here to talk humor and sarcasm? Because we're not here for humor and sarcasm. This is not designed to be humorous. I'm a humorist, but it's not humorous. We are also in charge of your tax. I expect you to live in a place that's warm enough for you and your family. Now, if your family includes you and your gerbil stuffed up your ass, so be it. But that's perfectly fine for you and your gerbil. All right? No, you're wasting my time, Mental Party. Yeah, you're kind of ruining my opportunity to convince others to be here and to talk about the truth and to talk about politics. So why don't you get something intelligent to say, and then we'll have your place here. Otherwise, you're on waivers. it doesn't matter if I have one person or 5 million people watching me. It's the point is I'm trying to get to the truth here. A Delaware doctor is charged with illegally selling controlled substances on the Silk Road drug marketplace. I hope that wasn't Randy Jackson, or no. The Rear Admiral that was just kicked out of the VA position. Yeah, according to criminal complaint, Bowles, a licensed medical doctor in Delaware, operated as a vendor of ND Pro on the underground website known as the Silk Road. Online criminal marketplace designed to enable users to buy and sell drugs and other illegal goods and services anonymously. Wow, they're cracking down on the this superhighway. I think Big Pharma is really behind this. They don't want people getting cheap drugs. Hey, here's a story that I think is worth looking at. Came in earlier. Hysteria over the Jade Helm exercise in Texas. Remember all that? 2015? All that hysteria over Jade Helm was fueled by Russians, according to the former CIA director. No kidding. Greg Abbott's decision in 2015 to ask the Texas State Guard to monitor a federal military exercise prompted significant criticism. But according to the former CIA director, Wednesday, that move emboldened Russians to next target elections. So they were so effective at bringing up the Jade Helm thing all over the internet. And I even talked about it. I didn't realize a lot of it was coming from Dabu 7. You got to wonder, is Dabu 7 working for the Russians? Yeah, I know that Jade Helm was actually Jade 2.0, artificial intelligence military operations system that actually ordered it. Jade 2.0 has been in operation for some time. I think it was designed originally to move ordnance. I don't think it was caused by it, but the talk about it on the internet may have been buzz created by the Russians. Yeah. They want our country to break apart internally. So if they can affect our way of seeing our country and destroy it, then they win. Yeah. I think we got a problem with this guy, Mental Party. He's basically a piece of crap who decided to come into the show. Yeah. And anytime they go off on this tangent about, attacking me personally, just ban them. We don't need to worry about it. I don't care if my ban list goes from here to Tucumcari. It doesn't matter to me anymore. Yeah, well, Obama was just doing whatever he was told. And I have only one more minute to play the video that I play every night, so I'm forced to do this. Yeah, Joan Rivers went out of her way to expose what we now have is a transgender dude pretending to be a first lady. 8 years committing fraud, and now acting like that he wants to run for president as a woman? What a joke.
And do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman president?
We already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
All right, that's undeniable. I mean, look at that right there. That's undeniable. You got to admit that that's a testicle and a penis. I mean, come on. I mean, what else could it be? Even the trajectory of the swing. And I'm not obsessed with this. I could care less. I'm not into trannies, but we've been lied to something fierce, and now they're trying to troll us and attack us. Yeah, they can't stop. They can't stop us. And I'm going to play right now as my exit call a little bit of our regular stuff, and then we'll go to our stuff that we have to not record. All right, thank you everybody for watching Technology Thursday. I'll be uploading 25 super tacos for $25 at the wee hours of the morning. So you'll see it at youtube.com/David John Sponheim, Jon. In the meantime, thank you again for being part of the show, and I will see you guys tomorrow for Freedom Friday at 5 p.m. Take care.
America is ready for a change. A third party is the change we need. Accountability in government, term limits for Congress, media verification, and a fresh approach to fixing our environment. We need a new direction for our nation. Join us in the middle of the political spectrum for our nightly commentary and discussion at America's Third Party.